what he's been up to, because I haven't.
Can somebody be a doll and link the show notes for me in the chat?
Well, if it'll work.
Yeah, I know. I've had trying to send it to him over and over again. I'll try it.
Thank you.
Yep.
You're such a doll.
Your face is a doll.
Thank you, doll
Your
face.
face.
Thank you, doll face.
Who's making that sound?
So funny. Now I gotta get all my links and things all messed up.
Oh gosh.
What's that noise? It's like did
I think it was just my thumb hitting my microphone. I'm sitting here, shake your bum bum, shake your bum bum. Went way two different directions.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
I was just trying to figure out how his bum was hitting the microphone.
His bum.
Because don't you know how
His bum
my bum
is
is on my
on the
microphone.
mic.
My bum is on my mic.
Yeah, my bum is on my mic. My bum is a good one.
That guy is so stupid. I hate
so
that
funny.
guy.
Stick a bee up your butt. Stick a big tree. Oh, that's not stick.
I don't know that.
You never heard
Stick
that song?
bologna up your butt.
Does that mean
What in the butt?
Yeah, what in the butt?
But I was talking about Tom Green the first time.
I don't know. I think it was way before that. It was who did you say, Johnny?
Oh, I said, if his bum is on his mic, does that mean he's talking out of his ass?
Maybe. Maybe.
Let me ask you a few questions.
Excuse me, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
I don't want to make a stink here.
I walk into
it was
work
his
one
eyes.
day,
Okay, yeah, never mind.
and there's a kid stuck in the banister
Oh my
in my
goodness.
school. I walk into this. I walk into the hallway, backpack on. I just punched into work, and I see 2 firemen, a police officer, and a bunch of teachers and stuff in the staircase.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
what the hell's going on here? Some kid somehow on the banister got his arm stuck between the wall and the banister.
Oh no.
So they're all trying to figure out how we get to get this kid's arm out without hurting this kid, and it's a banister, right? It's like a metal banister. So like as they're like sitting there and they're trying to figure things out, I walk over and I literally just pull the banister away from the wall and the kid's arm pops out.
Oh.
Like, really?
You're like,
you needed 2
see?
firemen, a police officer,
Yeah.
a principal, and who knows how much education is here right now. You couldn't do that. Like, you could have just muscled this
exactly.
banister
I'm gonna be
and
right
like
back. I'm gonna
let
go
it
tinkle
give
before the
just
show
a little
starts.
bit for his arm to
Okay.
come out.
And that's why you
there.
get paid the big bucks.
They got mayonnaise from the cafeteria.
That's awesome.
Silly.
I was gonna say you should let him do that, but then I realized you might get stuck with that mess.
Okay, so we can get started. We'll do faux where we were gonna get started up front with the Netflix Black Mirror, right?
What do you mean, Black Mirror? What are you talking about?
Are you freaking kidding me?
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, I'm gonna punch you through this TeamSpeak right now. Okay, all right, here we be. 1, 2, and ready and go.
Welcome to Crossrealm Podcast, the entertainment podcast hosted by CRR Gaming Group members. Wow, CRR Gaming Group members. Today is March 22nd, 2018. You can reach the show by emailing crossrealmrebellion@gmail.com. You can tweet the show at crossrealmpod on Twitter. You can grab the RSS feed, get our show notes, and leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/crossrealmpodcast and apply to join us in game at crossrealmrebellion.com. So for tonight's crew, we have Cricket.
Hey.
Esmeralda Sky.
Hello.
Faux Render.
Yo.
Goon, who is muted at the moment.
Oh, he's just I think he's just listening.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Big Blue.
Howdy.
And myself, Electron.
Greetings, Electron. I think that puts us into Foe's main topic.
What I wanted to talk about tonight for our main topic was boxer briefs compared to boxer shorts, and which do you prefer?
Beep, beep, beep. We have some information coming in.
Oh, first of all, yeah, I missed Johnny Wrench. I'm not sure how that happened.
It's okay. Hello.
It's because your name's all in lowercase, maybe.
Yeah,
So,
I don't
Johnny-
know why it's in lowercase, but you know,
And
hey.
we have
But hello,
Johnny
everybody.
Wrench. Johnny Wrench with us tonight, ladies and gents.
J-Dub.
Are we all set now?
How's everybody doing?
Doing good. All right, now we're tossing out your briefs and whatever you wanted to talk
Okay, we're not doing boxer briefs. That was just a
Faux being
phony
A faux.
A faux.
phony.
thing.
What are
Anyway,
we talking about then?
well, the other day, I was overhearing a conversation about a show called Black Mirror, which is a Netflix show, and it's kind of like the Twilight Zone. So it's like a modern version of the Twilight Zone. It's basically exactly what it is. And every episode is different, so it's not the same episode. There's no story arc you have to watch or whatever. You could actually bounce around and watch whatever episode you want because they're all different stories. And they were talking about one story which has to do with social media. And I know all of us are into social media, obviously. We're doing something that takes place on social media right now. So it sounded very intriguing. So I went home, downloaded it to my phone, and I watched it on the way to work. And I kind of wanted to talk about it because it was kind of crazy. And the premise of the episode, not to give any spoilers away or whatever. Well, we're going to talk about
We
the
might
episode.
as well just
so there's
say
going to be
spoiler
spoilers.
alert.
Well,
So-
first off, say which episode it is.
It is episode 1 of season 3, and the show is called Nosedive. And it is about a girl who is in the not so distant future, and social media is basically everything. It's running everything, and you could rate people on anything. So say I walk up to you and I say hi, and you say hi back, and we have a little conversation. I could rate you on that conversation, and you could rate me back. And then now say your rating is higher. You're considered a more like upper class person if you have a higher rating.
More
So if
affluent.
your rating drops below a certain amount, people don't want to talk to you. They don't want to be near you. You're considered kind of like a schlub if your rating is like super low. And people kind of get crazy with it because they want their ratings to be higher, and it could affect things like loans. It could affect things on where you go to school, what type of job you have, and it all depends on this rating. And you get rated on everything. People are rating one another on everything. How you talk to your dog, what you had for breakfast, who your friends are. So what you look like. You know, everybody's kind of wearing the same type of clothes. Everybody's exercising and jogging because everybody wants to be this like super perfect person for everybody else. So I asked everybody to watch the episode so we could all talk about it.
So, I think most of us did. We caught Big Blue up on it. He hadn't seen it. Have you seen it, Johnny? Have you watched Black Mirror at all? It's on Netflix.
No, I didn't get to watch it.
Well, you just joined us right before, so it's not like Big Blue and Johnny hopped in to join us because we were down Gigabyte tonight. So it's cool that they can hop in the sidecar and ride along with us.
Well,
So-
basically, by you not watching it, I would give you like 2 stars.
Oh,
If you get, like, that's like, I would right now take out my phone, pull up your name, and give you 2 stars right now.
Yeah,
and then I would say
Does that
I'm
mean
giving
we're
Faux
super
2
uncool?
stars for being a douche to Johnny and Blue. I'm giving him a 1 star.
And then I would give Esme a 1 star for giving me a 1 star.
It's like a cesspool of downgrading. That's what would go on.
And we'd all just be sitting here like a bunch of just low
Jackasses
stars. You know what I'm
giving each
saying?
other
Like
low
3 point
ratings.
with like 2.5 ratings.
yeah.
We would officially be the biggest assholes on Arc because we would just downgrade each other for no good reason.
Yeah, exactly.
So the premise of
Yeah,
this
it's-
thing,
it's-
if I get this right, the premise of this thing, it's basically like you rate your Lyft or Uber driver, but on everything
Yes.
on social media.
Well,
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Essentially, go off. Everybody basically has a Yelp review, and like you were saying, it can be from anything. Like most of the times you see it is people rate their interactions with people. Like, oh, that we had a good conversation. Let me rank you 5 stars for that. Or oh, thank you for for bringing me an iced tea when I didn't ask for it, or coffee or something like that. But also you can even go through the person's their social media account and rate all of their pictures and their recipes, basically their Pinterest account, rate all that stuff, in order to, I don't know if, and in order to raise their rating as well as to try to get them to notice you to give it back to you. This was one of my favorite episodes of the whole series, because I've seen the series since, I guess I watched the first 2 seasons and then 3 and 4 when they came out. it's such a good commentary on kind of how our society is sort of heading in some ways, that a lot of people are just so worried about their what they look like on social media, and who their the celebrities are, that they just are fake, and
Exactly.
only pay
Well,
attention to to
and
how they interact and what people look at them like.
And yeah, they were focusing a lot on, people posting photos of, what you're doing and making things look cool. And there's this one thing where this gal, the main character of the episode, went to this cafe, and she orders a coffee and gets a cookie for free, along with it. And she sits down and she takes like the perfect crescent-shaped bite out of this cookie so that it'll fit against the cup when she sets it down. And she doesn't even eat the cookie. She spits it out. And then she takes a picture of it all presented nice, and then she takes a sip of the coffee and she makes it, and she grimaces. And it's like, okay, so you're just doing all this stuff to look good. It's not even making you happy.
I thought too that was interesting was we forgot to say that these ratings aren't just mere ratings, that they're actually used to gauge you on what you're allowed to access in your real world. So like she could, with her 4.2 rating, she could get into certain restaurants. She could walk into certain gated communities. She could rent certain cars at the rental office. She could be allowed on certain flights. But if you had like a 2.8, they wouldn't even let you on the plane. And if you had said a curse word, or you lost your temper with anyone, and people around her like witnessed her lose her mind, like she just lost it because she had to get to the snobby friend's wedding, and then she went to get on the flight, and the flight was canceled. So then she was trying to be polite, and she's like, "Oh, do you have another one?" And he's like, "Nope, I don't." She's like, "You don't understand. I have to get there." And she's like, nothing I can do." And she's like, so she starts escalating, and she's like, "Let me on the fucking flight!" And she loses her mind. She like cusses at him, and then like the three people behind her pull out their little dirt phones and like point it at her and downgrade her, and then they're like, "You need to leave," and she's like, "I am not fucking leaving." And then like the like police
the dorkiest looking
it's a
police
security
officer.
guard, except he's
security
wearing
guard.
like a military helmet,
Yeah, that's
which
what
was
it looked like.
ridiculous.
Yeah, he looked like a military policeman, but he's the security guard. He's like, "Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave, and we are putting you on double downgrade." So, like, any downgrade she got, it was doubled, and it would the low ranking she got would last for, like, 24
Yeah, he wasn't a
hours or
security
something.
guard.
Yeah.
He was an officer at the airport, which obviously had some sort of like a government pull, because he was able to drop her rating by a full point for 24 hours.
Right.
Yeah,
Which
that's true.
and then put you on that thing where if you got 1 star, it would count as like -1 star. So he was able to do that with that power. So I doubt just like a regular guard would have that
that's
power.
a good point. That's a good point because
or maybe that's just like the biggest kind of punishment that that they have out there, that that since everybody cares so much about the social media,
Exactly.
about their score, that that every guard has, like, might not even be a special guard, that's just, oh yeah, here's your incentive for being a fake nice person all the time.
They're able to keep the peace with an iPad
Yep.
because everyone's so concerned about their rating.
Well, another way to look at it too is I kind of likened it to our credit ratings, and you don't have to be the government to fuck somebody's credit rating up. Like you could just.
I was thinking about that too.
So I don't know that they would have to have government clearance, because like anybody could, give you a poor rate, or even if you like rent an apartment and and they give you a bad review because the lady behind the desk didn't like you. I mean, things happen now that are very much can affect you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, think about it this way, and this is where it starts to hit kind of close to home. Say this rating system is by a private company, but they go ahead and allow organizations. So if the organizations are important enough, or if it's like a big business like an airport, and maybe the organizations pay the company to be able to say, hey, we want to be able to use this as a
that
form
could
of
be a thing as well,
security,
definitely.
and modify it, and pay them to have control over people's reputations in that way, as an incentive to keep things calm.
Well,
It's like
and I guess that the other aspect that you didn't really talk about is not only do people have these ratings, but everybody has some type of like basically like implant in their eyes where
Oh,
yeah,
as
that's
they
true.
look around, they can
Reality
see
contact
everybody's
type of thing.
they can see everybody's rating. So it's not that you have this rating, but you have this rating and everybody can see it every single time they look at you.
Yeah,
so
it
as you're,
was
as
like
you're walking down the street, you
right.
can see that these people that have the 2.4s. You can see these.
But what
these,
really
these
sucks
pariahs
is,
of
like,
society, or these people that you see as a high rank. It's like, oh, I got to be fake to this person because maybe this person will give me a high ranking because I smiled at him,
and it counts
or
more.
or I flashed my
coming
boob
from
at
them.
him or something.
And it counts more when it comes from someone with a high rating.
Yeah.
And
Now, it
then
kind of sucks.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, it kind of sucks because I would totally be like the type of person. I'd be like, I don't give a shit about my rating. Like, like, I don't like this donut. This donut
That's
sucks.
what
You know what I'm saying?
were saying
What are you
before
gonna dock my
got
rating?
accused me
I don't give
today.
a fuck.
Well,
but,
you
but
say-
in
you
the
say
same
that-
thing,
you say that
exactly.
now, but
I was
if
just about to
you're-
say it. I was just about to like say that. Like, it sucks though because I wouldn't care. But you have to kind of care because if you want a bank loan to buy a house, you have to care. Like if you want to buy a new car, a certain car, you have to care. You want to go on a subway or like a bus or whatever, like you have to have a certain rating to do these things. Like it's like it just controls everything. So it's like you kind of do have to care about it, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah, because it's easy for us in the society we're in now to say, "Oh yeah, I wouldn't care and be fake." But when every single aspect of your life is controlled by this ranking,
Exactly. And if you have kids, too.
Like the one guy, he couldn't even go to work when his rating dropped.
He couldn't work for
in
that
the episode.
company. I'm sure
Yeah,
there's jobs for him to do.
Yeah, he couldn't work for the company. Like all of a sudden, one day he was fine, and then he like basically was having a breakup with his boyfriend.
But
and everybody liked the boyfriend better, so they were siding with that person, and he was sitting there trying to
Very tribal.
and he was
Very
trying
tribal.
to get them to help him out. And once his ranking dropped down, he couldn't even get through the front door.
But here's the
Exactly.
thing. But here's the thing. What I got from the episode, and you get this towards the end of the episode, when she catches a ride with that woman.
Yep,
Now she's she like delivers stuff and like
orange.
So you could have a job
Right.
driving a truck, and you could get paid, and you could live perfectly fine. She didn't look bad. She was finely dressed. She was doing her own job. She seemed very happy. And what happens is, that's because I guarantee you they didn't really show it too much except for her, like that side of it. There's probably a whole side of the world that's
Thank
just regular
you.
people that are just
Thank
living
you.
their lives like me and you.
Yeah,
but
like her
but this
brother.
but the girl was the show was focused on this one girl
Right.
who wants to be in that upper end of life that
Right.
follows all these ratings. And I'm sure it and what you were saying, like it probably is a business, and that it's just something that's making a lot of money, and if you don't want to abide by it, you just won't be part of that lifestyle, so you won't get all those perks. But I'm sure you could live a perfectly fine life away from all that. It's just like being a rich person and you're just not in their high class country club. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's kind of like that same. I get the feel that's like the same sort of thing, in that episode.
We were talking too before we started recording, which might be in the intro, I don't know, but we were talking kind of like how we would approach it and stuff, and I kind of agree in that way what you were just saying, where I feel like they're just like now, like even in the gaming world right now, I think there's definitely that line of demarcation. There's the with streamers, I find that they're more apt to, because it's more, streaming is more of like a solo thing, like it's one person's channel,
Right.
and then followers, and I see a lot of drama always going back and forth in a couple, in the past 5-6 years I've been on Twitter. I've had some podcasting friends cross over and just do streaming, and it's almost like they lose their freaking mind. All their feed is on Twitter is bitching about followers, and oh my god, I lost another follower, and if you can't like me for me, then go away. And they lose their damn mind. And then all it is when you throw money in on stuff, and you throw it brings out the competitive side. And I could see that when I was watching the show. I'm like, this girl, that she just had her eyes on the prize. She didn't really focus on.
Well, she wanted that nice apartment.
She wanted
That's
that
why
nice
she was
apartment.
bugging out.
Exactly.
She wanted that apartment. She couldn't afford it
Yes.
without having a 4.5 rating.
Right, and I
but
see
even
this right
before that
now going on with Twitch right now, because Twitch is, showing the love and letting people in and be affiliates and doing all this stuff, and everybody wants that one guy who makes $1 million a month or $5 million a month streaming Fortnite. You know what I mean? That's what everybody is striving for, and she was striving for Paradise Bay or whatever the shit it was, to live in. Like, to me, I could see it very applicable, like, right now, you know? That's okay. So, Cricket, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, but even before that, the apartment thing, she was still, striving to try to get it higher. She was always, started off, she was sitting there trying to, raise everything high, and then it was when she looked at that apartment and she couldn't afford it, and then, then they said, oh, well, if you have a high ranking, then, we'll give you this break, and then you can afford it. That's what it kind of made the difference for her, going apeshit and being like, I got to get this right now.
Right.
It's super important for me to get this at this moment, as opposed to just, her normal striving, to try to raise it up a little bit here and there.
Did we lose Electron? It looks like we lost Electron.
He might have been the one that timed out.
Oh, okay. He just said sorry and then, like, disappeared. So I don't know what that is. But, yeah, but there was like a thirst there, and I can see like the similarities with the thirst, if you can see it apply in other areas where you have to get so many followers to move into this next level, and you have to get so many followers to unlock this. Like on YouTube, you have to have like 100 subscribers to even monetize, and you know what I mean? So I can see where elements of this thought is already seeping into like our gaming world right now, where it brings out the people that are striving for these goals. And just like the chick in the show, her goal was to get that high.
It got to the point where like it was cringy kind of watching the show, like,
cringy.
Right? It was so cringy because she's trying so hard, and then you hit that point where everybody falls into the zone every once in a while where you're trying too hard, and then things just start going wrong, and then you're trying even harder, but it's making it worse.
You're forcing it, and
exactly, you're forcing it, and you're just making it worse and worse.
And she went to that guy who was like I was telling Blue before the show, was like, how when people have to get like a bank loan, and if they have their credit score is so many points off or whatever, they'll go, oh, well, give her a couple months, do this, and do this, and you can jack it up by this. That's exactly what was going on in the show. That's what made me think like, that seems very, very much like what
they
we have
had
right
like
now.
a doctor who he wasn't like a psychologist.
Yeah.
He was your social media doctor. Like you'd go to him and he would give you tips and tell you how you could improve your rating and what you needed to do. And
and
how long it would take.
I think the title of the episode is just so fitting, nosedive. It is. Because, it like you were saying, the more she was trying to fix it, the worse it was getting. Like, you hear the stories about, the pilots, and once they start to lose control, they kind of over adjust, and then they go into that nosedive, and it just
true.
It just goes and crashes down. So it's that type of thing. It's the the over adjusting that just screws up things, and you don't think rationally because you just get into that, oh my gosh, I gotta fix this right this moment, and not and you just act on the very first thing you can think of, and it's it's not a rational thought, and it's not thought out, and so it just kind of becomes wrong.
Exactly.
Right.
You guys remember when Facebook first came out, how people were doing all sorts of stupid things and saying stupid stuff just to get likes? It's kind of like that.
Well,
it was
I was actually
like
fixing to bring that up. I was fixing to bring that up just to kind of try and tie what you guys are talking about into like reality. Is you look at 15, 20 years ago, before MySpace, before Facebook, before Twitter and all that, people didn't really get to associate with people outside of their region. But now with online gaming and social media and everything that's going on, you get to meet people from different parts of the country and different parts of the world. Just like with us, we're all across the United States, and we have members in other countries, and you get exposed to other people's basically cultures, and it's just like culture shock. But and when I say we, I mean we as society, we look at the wrong people for like guidance or whatever. We look at celebrities, and it kills me to see celebrities throwing out political viewpoints because they're celebrities, they're not politicians.
Right.
And so I can see where that where it could end up being like that, where everything is based on social media and everybody has a rating, and if you're not like, I hate to throw out famous names, but you were talking about streamers, if you're not like Vanoss Gaming or H2O Delirious, and you're not throwing out that content like that, you don't get that high rating. you don't get to have the things in life that you want. And that is, I mean, I could see that really happening.
But don't get me wrong. Like, I know those guys that do have the high ratings. They do bust their ass. Like, there's a lot that is like there's a lot of work that's put into doing it. It's not easy to get a following and to keep up with. Like, you have to make that what you do.
Right. And you also have to have a support system. And being just in the gaming and content creating community for a while, you can see where you have to make peace with yourself where you're at. And I can see where this, because like, if you have kids and like you work a lot of hours a week, the likelihood that you can devote that much time is very rare compared to a single person who has had either, you know, they've had a really cushiony life that they can just not have to work and try to water that kind of an avenue. You know what I mean? Like, you will not see like a full-time dad and a man who has a job also be killing it on Twitch. You won't see that unless he has a very good support system at home that allows this to happen.
Exactly. Or he keeps it, or he turns it into a second job with the hopes of making that his main job.
Right. And I've also seen that happen. And I've also seen it lead in divorce too. Even with podcasting. Yeah.
Of course.
I've seen it happen in the podcasting realm. Because there was no balance. And they went in like this chick, balls to the wall, did not look to the left, did not look to the right, locked their eyes on the prize. And what did she lose in the end? Her mind. Like she lost her
now,
shit.
Did you guys catch
this?
Found
herself.
Absolutely. I was going to say, did she lose herself or did she find herself?
Well, she found herself in the end, I think.
She found herself, but she had to hit the bottom of the barrel to do it. And a lot of times, that's what happens to these people that even right now in the real world, they strive for the stars and they are at risk of losing a lot of shit and hitting the bottom of the barrel until what really matters comes to the top of the, floats to the top.
I want to go back and watch. I want to go back and watch it because at the end, that at the end where she's finally basically just hit rock bottom. And then there's that guy in the cell across from her.
Yeah.
And they're just like going at it.
Yeah.
They're just like cursing each other because they're both just venting everything they've been bottling up for so long. And you could see they're enjoying it. Like it turns at first they didn't like it, but then they both were like just loving it and just happy to get it out. And now I want to go back and see because this would be cool if they did do this on the show. It would be really cool if that guy, was he the guy that was in her like fantasy?
That's what I thought,
thing?
That's what I thought.
Because that would be really cool if they used that same guy. That would be cool for that.
I totally thought that when I saw him. I'm like, oh, damn, is he that guy? Because when she was looking at that apartment and she was watching that like hologram perfect life that lady was showing her. And she's like, you like him? She's like, yeah. I'm like, that's that guy. That's that guy. I agree. I thought that too.
That'd be super cool if it was, if it is.
Yeah.
So I've been on mute this entire time.
Yeah, you have been on mute this entire time.
Yeah,
pretty much. If you were talking, you were on mute.
We did not hear you.
What'd you say,
go
Cricket?
ahead and say what you were gonna. Oh, go ahead.
No, the time has passed. Yeah, go ahead, Cricket.
So I have watched a couple, YouTube videos here and there that were like, Easter eggs in the Black Mirror series and all kinds of stuff. None of them mentioned that I saw, but one thing that I did see on one of them that was interesting about this episode was when she goes with the large Marge truck driver, and the truck driver offers her two thermoses because I can't remember which color is which, but it's like the blue thermos is coffee, the red thermos is vodka.
Whiskey.
Or alcohol,
whiskey.
yeah, whiskey, yeah.
And they were saying how it parallels Morpheus with the blue and red pills on the Matrix, where it's basically here's your go back to the normal world as it was with the coffee, and here's the break away from the normal world, but go to the real how the world should be, the real world.
Like live it up a little bit.
Yeah, and so I thought that was interesting how. Because there's a lot of different Easter eggs within the episodes, you can definitely tell.
And then she lets her have the full thermos. Like at the end, she's like, "I packed something in your bag for you, to like get you by." Yeah, your escape hatch, and it was the vodka one.
So I wonder then there's the part there after her car runs out of gas and she can't get the more gas, and she hitches the ride with those people going to the convention, the cosplayers.
Oh yeah.
I was trying to think if there's anything like deeper into like the meaning of of that type of scene, with maybe it's that they were being themselves, and like I don't know if I don't remember if it showed anything about their rankings or anything, and it's just like they're being themselves and they were kind of like accepting of her just because she lied to him saying, oh yeah, I'm a I'm a person going to that too, and they're like, okay, fine, sure, come along. They're accepting of her kind of at face value. Just trying to think if there was more, kind of more.
Because they might not have had that eye implant. Like, I'm telling you, that might be like a separate section of people that have the eye implant and do all the rating compared to like everybody else.
Well, either they had the eye implant and didn't care, or they didn't have it.
Because their ratings are probably lower anyways.
But as soon, their ratings were probably lower, so they probably just didn't care. But as soon as she said, hey, I'm not a fan of your show, she was out on her ear.
Yeah. Yeah, and it looked like the removing of the eye implant that she got there at the very end was like a very rough punishment. Just the kind of here's what we're going to do to the to the dregs of society is remove this thing. So then it kind of makes you wonder, like her brother, he knew he had a ranking, he knew what his ranking was. He doesn't really care. Did he have an eye implant, or did he not? I mean, he obviously knew about the system, but
well, yeah, because he had his phone and he ranked her when they had that fight.
Yeah,
he downgraded her.
Boom. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Exactly.
So here's another thing that I wanted to bring up. So there's this one point in the show, actually 2 points in the show, where she's in the elevator talking to this gal that she knows about. And
I hated that whole scene. Like,
yes,
I hated that woman.
I hate it.
I couldn't stand her.
Okay,
she was such a stick up the ass Jane.
They have this entire conversation, but one thing you notice is they don't look at each other. Instead, they're using their implants to look up each other's profiles so they can catch up and see what people are doing. And there's no connection there. And that's what the brother was complaining about. He was like, we don't have conversations anymore. We don't talk about anything meaningful. There's no meaningful connection to our interactions. Everything's just at the face value. And that kind of struck home to me a little bit. It's just like, that happens already. It's like we stare at our phones, we look up people's profiles to see what they're up to, and we don't talk to them about who they are and what they're feeling. We just like, oh, hey, you did this, that's so cool, blah blah blah. And we fall into that. I've fallen into that before. Unfortunately, I guess I've been in and out of that in my experience with social media. But it's just one of those things you kind of like a board to the face, almost like, oh, well, so are my interactions with people actually meaningful, or am I just commenting on cool things that people are doing?
Well, and I get that, because me being involved in my local music scene, every concert that I go to, people don't watch the show. They watch their phone as they're recording the show.
Right.
And that's not the same experience. That's not experiencing that band live. You're losing something there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one thing I've noticed for myself. I kind of think, like, oh, I don't take enough pictures, and and it's what some of my friends like, either having lots of pictures that they either post up on things or just that they have. But I rarely, both my wife and I, we rarely ever have pictures of any events or anything we go to, and part of that, is intentional. It's like I'm not going to live my life, I'm not going to see my life through this, this screen. I'm going to enjoy what I'm seeing as I'm seeing it. But also, I in some ways I kind of wish I had that the record for for later, because I think of there's pictures of there's pictures of me as I was growing up that my kids can see, but if I don't do that for my kids, then I won't have anything when I'm a grandfather to be able to show, like, oh yeah, here's what your parents look like, here's some of the things that that your parents did, to kind of do that relating, because kids like to know that their parents were kids themselves.
Right.
It was kind of like, actually, my kids were just watching Girl Meets World the other day, and there was an episode on that where the main character, Corey's daughter, is kind of feeling like she's kind of a piece of shit because her parents are so perfect, and then they actually pulled in flashbacks from the original Boy Meets World show, of Corey and Topanga, and then she's realizing, oh no, they were just as goofy and.
Side note: I had such a crush
as we were.
Yeah.
I think everybody
I
did.
think every guy.
Yeah, I'm
for
pretty sure that was a common thing.
Yes,
But-
she definitely was like she did not look like a little girl
But
at
it's
all.
one of those things because she kind of had that record and those stories of her parents, as
Yeah.
kids. It made her feel better that, oh, I'm not the only one going through these struggles. There's been other people before me that have gone through these struggles, and so if they made it through, I can make it through.
So going back to the eye implant, something that's out now could easily be turned into something kind of like that.
Yeah, easily.
Google Glass.
Sure.
Well,
Except
I
they
mean,
discontinued it.
I'm just saying it's still out there, and that's something
Oh,
they
yeah.
can easily do, which is kind of creepy.
And that's what
Something like Google Glass will be back. It will make a comeback.
Well,
it was just
it'll be back.
uncomfortable to look at. It kind of made your eye feel weird. It kind of gave you a headache.
Well, but even just think about Pokemon Go. People were looking down at their phones to find the Pokemon.
and running into freaking cars and falling into holes
Just
in
imagine,
the ground. And
people are
shit.
just looking down at their phones, and there's instead of the Pokemon on their phones, they're seeing, 3.4, 4.5 as they're seeing everybody around. I mean, Waze right now does that with anybody who has Waze and has it running as you're driving your car. You can see where the other people are in their cars.
But the good thing is, I think that makes me think that this wouldn't fly, like it would be a blip, because we as people get bored of things very easily. We will hop on board for 5 seconds, so we're like, yeah, we're over that shit. You know what I mean? Like, Pokemon Go was so big, and then it was like, meh,
It's a little
done.
frustrating to me at times, actually. That
What part? That
we're
don't
just
stick
like
on
that.
stuff?
Yeah, it's kind of because I'm the type of person, I like to get hooked on things and stick with it and evolve in it.
Yeah.
And it's just so annoying when you get into something with a whole bunch of friends, and then you feel like you're just digging into it, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna do this now instead." And you're like, "Okay, I guess we're changing over to this thing."
Yeah.
Right.
So Blue just mentioned something that reminded me of something I was saying before the show. How I was, I was reading it. Actually, it was another one of those YouTube videos, and it was talking about how China is possibly working on almost this exact thing. It's a social credit system where it's based upon essentially your reputation, and it's going to affect your life. Let me see what it was called again. I have to pull the article back up.
But the one, while you're looking it up, is I think the one thing is I also hold out on, and I said earlier before we started recording, was that I think that I hold hope out for the rebels, my fellow rebellious people, that will just give this the middle finger and be like Large Marge in the video and just psh. You know what I mean? Like, I would totally make my own version of an Amish community where we all just live in tents and give the big middle finger to the stupid
there
little
will
rating.
be that, yes.
There
That
will, and
will
I will
be
be
a
one of
thing,
those
sure.
people because I'm not buying it. It's not in my nature. I don't care. I don't care enough to care. I just don't. And then also, the poor girl in the show cared a lot because she was overly, and that's what that doctor dude, when she went to see him, he was like, okay, you guys, you are doing it too hard. People can smell fakeness. They want authenticity. And when she showed that picture of her rag doll, that's what got her that 5-star thing from her childhood friend that spun her into the craziness of that wedding and getting all these high stars was, and that's what you'll see is people want, the thing with Instagram and stuff is people want to see you at your worst as well as their best, because more people will buy into these people because they're like, oh, they're just like me.
Well, and also,
You know what I mean?
exactly, because then they
want
also
that
feel better about
authenticity.
themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. So draining.
I take social
I'm
media
drained.
breaks all the time.
I'm so drained.
Yeah. I was gonna say, just watching that made me a little tired. I was like,
I was so exhausted after watching it. I'm like, oh, thank God this isn't real. It can be your real thing right now. I mean, if you put yourself into that, but
Can you imagine how bad social disorders would get after something like that?
what's that?
Like social disorders or diseases or whatever, people having mental issues would just go crazy after something like that, after having to pretend to be so fake for so long.
oh yeah.
Well, so I mean, to bring up this article, it's talking about a social credit system called the Zima credit. It says it's actively evolving through Alipay, which is a popular form of mobile payment in the country. So it's starting off it's from a monetized system, but then it's saying that it's that the China's governing cabinet publicly called for the establishment of a nationwide tracking system to rate the reputations of individuals, businesses, and even
Good
government
Lord.
officials. The
Why
aim
does
is
that
for
sound
every
so much
Chinese
like it?
citizen to be trailed by a file compiling data from public and private sources by 2020, and for those files to be searchable by fingerprints and other biometric characteristics.
That sounds like a nightmare.
And
That does sound like a nightmare.
so
Good
like a low
Lord.
score falls around 350, while a high score sits around 950. Those with higher scores earn certain privileges, while those who fall behind can find themselves paying extra fines and facing penalties. So
Are you kidding me?
even if you don't care about the system, it sounds like there's still
You're getting fined?
Just being low, you're getting fined.
Holy shit, could you imagine? We have a thing called Reddit, and it's very much like that. Could you imagine, like, living real life Reddit, getting downvoted all the damn time just because? Oh my god.
That's when I pack up and just like live in the woods.
I know. We're all
and-
going to end up living in the woods. That's why I said I'm going to buy a tent. My husband's going to kill everything we need to eat, and we're just going to look like cave people because I don't care. I just can't do this. I'm getting drained right now.
So then it
thinking
says,
about it.
then it says like here, this
I
person
can't do this.
person described the system, described using the system herself and being stamped with a poor rating of 550, describing herself as the digital underclass. She found herself paying deposits for things like renting a bicycle or staying in a hotel.
So horrible.
So if you're trustworthy, you might not have to pay deposits. But then she also spoke to a man who had a low score. He was labeled as a second-class citizen and banned from most forms of travel, luxury hotels, and found himself ineligible
Thank
for
God
large
for
bank
capitalism.
loans. So, yeah, I mean,
Could you imagine? I would totally
if
flip
this article
it and be
is
like,
to be believed, it's
Yeah.
happening.
but I think our American spirit, we could make a business that only allowed low-ranking people to be able to participate. You know what I mean? Like, you can touche these mofos. That's what I would do. I'd be like, I'm sorry, only 3.0 and below get to rock it out in here. Sorry. You know what I mean?
Esme,
Flip the
I see
script.
you being like
I'm a
the
vigilante, I'm sorry,
the
I
Rosa
just can't.
Parks of this. I can see you being like the Rosa Parks of this system. Like,
I'm telling
I
you,
can't
I
can't
gotta-
ride the bus. I can't ride the
do
bus.
it.
Oh, I'm getting on the bus.
Hell, that's how our podcast got started. No, that's why we record in TeamSpeak, because I'm like, I just want everybody to jump in. I'm more the merrier kind of person. I'm not, let's be somebody's. I can't. I'm allergic to it. Oh, can we move on?
Well,
Do you got something else you want?
so to move on from this episode, I
Sucking
highly
the
recommend
life from me.
the entire series, which I've said before on our podcasts. It's really great. Each one, like Fo said at the front, is a completely different episode, but all of them are kind of based around technology. About half of them are kind of based around essentially tomorrow's technology versus decades from now technology, where and those are the ones that I think are kind of the most disturbing, that they are just, oh my gosh, we are so close to this happening. I mean, it's scary seeing some of them, but I highly recommend watching the whole series. The first season 1 is kind of rough to watch based on the content of it. So if you want to skip that one and go for other ones, go for it. The new season was awesome. It just launched, I think like December 23rd or something like that. It just launched right around Christmas time. One of the episodes, the first episode there was really awesome. It's essentially a MMO, or not, I guess not an MMO, but a sim game with basically like it's a Star Trek ripoff in a way, but it just goes so much deeper and darker than like everything in Black Mirror. It just starts kind of doesn't always start dark, but it usually always gets dark quickly. But watch them.
It is a good one. Yeah, this is just one episode, and that's what I was telling them, and I'm glad Fo mentioned that we didn't have to like keep up with the series, that we could just hop in whenever we wanted, and they're little
Right.
like bite-sized stories.
I don't want everybody to like think that like if I made them watch this episode, they were going to be like behind on like knowing characters
I'm so
and things
glad
like
you
that.
Added that, because my first thought was, but I haven't watched it.
It's an anthology series.
Stuff about it.
Yeah, just don't watch the last episode of season 4 until you've seen others, because that one actually does have a few references. It's called Black Museum, I think, and it's kind of it's an anthology within the anthology.
Huh.
It has this person goes to this museum of oddities, and the person there, he is referencing these different the stories behind some of the different exhibits he has in there, and a couple of them kind of reference some of the stories that you saw in Black Mirror.
Okay.
Or you see
Cool.
some Easter eggs in there, like you might see
Right.
something in one of the exhibits, like, oh, I recognize that was from from this other episode.
Okay.
So
Just going back slightly, a friend of mine wanted me to get this thing called, I think it was called Venmo or
Yeah.
Venmo.
Yeah.
Venmo
Where
is
you
like
could-
a PayPal type thing.
Yeah, it's like a PayPal type thing. And it's like you joining it, then like you could pay people money. So like say someone gives you a ride and you want to give them some like money for gas, you could Venmo them the money. And I was like, I refuse to do this. I refuse to get this third party involved in our transactions.
Well, I mean, I guess if you want to bring that up, it's like I know more and more people are having less and less cash on them. I mean, I know I rarely have much cash on them.
I have PayPal, and I just been used. I guess I'm just used to using PayPal for so long because they don't charge you anything. PayPal.
Well, yeah, Venmo's owned by PayPal.
Is it?
I think Venmo is more for kind of your unofficial small transactions, like here's $5, or
and you can do that on PayPal too.
Or it's just like I'm gonna pick up the tab for dinner. Just everybody just Venmo me your share of it instead of having to try to split up the check between 6 people at the restaurant and all this stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna get it. But
Fo does have a good point. It is free on PayPal as long as everybody involved also has a PayPal account. I think that's how it works.
Right, because then I don't know, because I already have my. It's like, then how do you get the money out of Venmo to like put into your pocket? You gotta. I guess they wire it to your bank. You gotta add all your banking stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it in some environments, like maybe even like kind of the New York City-ish type thing where people are going out. And
it's all over.
Just like that. But I mean, in all my interactions, I would never need anything like that.
Yeah, a lot of people.
To me, it sounded like you're going around the world just to go around the corner.
But it is like Cricket did say, like people don't really have cash anymore. Like my job doesn't even pay me a paycheck anymore. They wire the money right into my bank account.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
And there's a lot of times I don't even go to the bank because I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll just use my card.
Right. Well, I did have a link in here to tie up the topic. I don't know if you guys saw it. That my reply to it was, where's it at? Oh,
wait, show notes?
It was the best alternative. Yeah. Deleting Facebook. Here are the best alternatives for what you'll miss. Because like Facebook right now encompasses so many different avenues. Like a lot of people they'll use Facebook just to use like the buy, sell, trade websites. They'll use it for just getting news or local businesses and alerts and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, I don't really want to get rid of it. Blah, blah, blah. Like I just ran across this article, so I shared it. It's on wired.com, and they actually go through and show you a bunch of alternatives that you can use. They say that it might be, a couple different apps to kind of mimic what you were getting, but without all the bullshit from what, like, the stuff we were talking about. Not the pissing contests and all that stuff.
Right, like if you just wanted the news or you just wanted this. A la carte
things.
Yeah, the whole deleting Facebook, that's another article or discussion in itself, especially, like, I haven't followed the whole thing, but there's the whole, hashtag.
We won't even go there. We won't even go there.
Thing, based upon the big data analysis and all that stuff.
There's a whole thing that happened recently.
So I did put that in the show notes. So if you if you have been wanting to escape the Facebook boss, I did put that link in there because they show a bunch of different alternatives for people to check out. So, are we ready to move on?
I think you told us we're ready to move on.
Yeah, I know, Rand. We've been kicking the shit out of this horse.
Yeah, you told us.
I feel like I want to vomit now. Like, no. Just the thought of that becoming a reality makes me I'm just mentally allergic to this kind of a thing, so.
I'm 2-starring you for that now. Hold on.
2-star, wow.
I know.
Better than 1 star.
This is going to be a thing now. This is going to be a thing. I think I would end up turning into a troll and just 1-starring everybody, because I've just been I'm going to turn the tide. 1 star, all of you fuckers. Like,
but then the thing is, you'll be 1-starred back, and your rank will go down so low that...
I'm an eye for an eye person.
But eventually your rank wouldn't even matter.
Your rank won't matter.
On you if I don't expect it to come back on me. Everybody gets a little splatter, okay?
What I'm saying is that your ranks won't matter because you'll be so low.
I know, yeah, you can only go so low.
So yeah, you'll feel good on yourself. It's like, I totally got that person with the 1 star. It's like, yeah, whatever. It was like a 1/millionth of a point down because you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, large margin. I'll be rolling in her truck down the road, drinking whiskey out of a red canteen, giving everybody the middle finger. That sounds like fun to me.
So I wonder how many people in here don't know the large Marge reference.
Oh, the chick. Okay, so the large Marge was the lady. So we'll just have. Now you're making me talk about it more.
Well, no, I'm talking about me calling her large Marge and where that where the name and reference comes
It
from.
kind of just applies, but anyways, we won't go there. Just watch the episode, guys. You'll like it. You'll understand all of this lamenting and all this conversation.
Or you're gonna kind of hate it like me.
comes from
Like, it was
Pee-wee's
good,
Or
but I
you're
still
gonna
kind of hate that episode.
I agree with you 100%. I agree with you. Here we go.
But it comes from
Oh, what?
Oh man.
2 stars.
Oh, it's just turning it up now.
Oh, hey. Alrighty then. I did add in some quick news. I apparently was the first person to fill this stuff out because I'm first. I had some quick news. General Facebook is going to go head to head with Twitch. This is interesting coming on the face of what we were just talking about. Facebook is going head to head with Twitch with direct PC live streaming. I don't know if you guys are aware, but like Blizzard already does this through their Battle.net app. I don't really think it's that amazing. Everybody did it like for like the first week, and then you never see it anymore. And then who really wants to live stream their games? Like for us gamers, everybody keeps your shit on lockdown. Nobody wants Aunt Maple to know that you're playing, you know, GTA and all that shit. You know, everybody always separates their real life from their gaming life. So good luck with this. I don't know how that's going to work out.
I love people who would stream on official PvP because I knew people who would hunt those guys down and just try and wipe them out in midstream.
Exactly. It's like, why are you doing this? So it says Facebook is preparing to take on Amazon's Twitch live streaming platform with new additions announced today at the Game Developers Conference. Players and streamers will be able to directly live stream from PC to Facebook, and viewers will be able to score some in-game rewards for watching. So there you go. There's the incentive. The live streaming API from Facebook makes it easier than ever for developers to add Facebook streaming functionality to their PC games. In a matter of seconds, players can now live stream directly from the game client. This is all in parentheses, that's why I'm reading it weirdly. To a Facebook service without any hardware or third-party software required. The API is already out for PC and will be out for mobile developers in the coming weeks. So I put the link to that. MMORPG, they had a lot of good info popping out this week.
I think it's kind of cool because, you know, anything
you
that
like
makes
Facebook.
I do use Facebook.
You do like it, just say it.
Because it just connects everything. It's easy. Anyway,
it's a devil.
But what I want to say is
I'm with
this.
Lee. It's the downfall of humanity. That's what Lee always
What I
said.
want to say is this. You can just block whoever you want, but that's beside the point. Right. What I do like about it is anything that makes like streaming easier, I like it. Because I feel like to stream, we have the technology. It shouldn't be so hard to stream. Like the things you have to do to get a good stream going is kind of annoying. You have to jump through a lot of hoops. Like if you're new to it, it's not easy to do. Like you have to get
True.
The OBS, and you have to get that to work. Then you have to link your Twitch account through the OBS to get that. Then you got to get your webcam, and you got to mirror it, and you got to layer this and layer that and layer this and mirror your screen. And then it's a bunch of nonsense. It's like there's definitely, we have the technology to make all that way easier. And I have a feeling this is part of that.
I know this is something you've been wanting because you've mentioned this before. There is a line, a barrier to entry for those people. You can't just plug and stream. Like there's a lot of different things that you have to figure out. It's not like, I think the console players actually have it easier in this way because
they do, because it's all there. It does it
Johnny,
for you.
It's easy for you pretty much to stream right from your PS4, right? When you do it?
Yeah, I mean it's real simple on the PS4. You just basically hit a couple of buttons and it's on.
Yeah, that's what I think Foe and probably many others and even myself are really wishing that us as PC players had that opportunity. So we have to jump through a lot of hoops to get shit to look good. And half of us don't even know those hoops, you know what I mean?
Like
It's
you could do it and it'll look okay, but to
Lot
get it
of
to look like
troubleshooting.
really sharp, you have to go in and you have to set your frames per second, all
Yeah.
these things. It's like it's crazy. It's like I don't have a degree in like multimedia. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Well, and
I agree.
And I'm sure with the PC, your hardware specs have a lot to do with how well it looks too.
Oh yeah.
You know, like with the PS4, I mean, it's going to look the same regardless because you know
It's a
they're
console,
all
right.
set up
Unless
the same.
your
Yeah,
internet
it's controlled.
connection's terrible.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with it too.
And then we also have Amazon announces Game On, a cross-platform competitive gaming service. Competitive gaming and esports are growing globally, and with Amazon, Game On developers have an easy tool to bring more players in on the action, allowing them to compete for in-game and real-world prizes fulfilled by Amazon. The service also gives developers the ability to drive engagement and increase monetization of their games. Game On is currently supports the leaderboards, leagues, and multi-round competitions and gives developers the flexibility to create custom events such as local and regional competitions. Developers can also enable players and streamers to create their own user-generated competitions and invite participants, allowing players to connect with friends and expand their gaming network. Sounds very much like what we were just talking about, doesn't it? Like
Exactly.
They have that thirst. The thirsty people will go to get the drink. They get the prizes. They get the real world prizes. They get to expand. They have that one like big name that they're striving for, and then everybody will push everybody else's head under the water so they can breathe. That's the downfall. That's my opinion.
That's real dark. You were like, I will float.
I'm a realist, man.
If we're with the Titanic and the ship is going down, I will float. I will tie a few of your bodies together and I will float on your corpses.
That's what people do. I mean, that's what people do. Like, they're like, oh, I want to get higher. I'm just going to climb on top of your body. You know what I mean? Like, that's what thirsty people do. So, I'm opinionated. Can you
Except,
figure that out?
You know, waterlogged corpses aren't exactly buoyant.
It's a metaphor.
I know.
First of all, that door that Rose was floating on had more than enough room for Jack to get up on that door.
Oh boy.
Blub, 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 blub.
We are
Moving
not
on.
going down that rabbit hole. That rabbit hole.
Because she's thirsty.
I put thirsty. Back to thirsty. See, it's a full circle. Boop boop. So I did put the link to that in the show notes in case you want to find out how you can get real stuff and blah 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 blah. Yeah, all the power to ya. So, and also, PUBG is out on mobile. I have not downloaded it, but I saw a bunch of other people in our Discord channel had, right?
See, that just seems insane to me a little bit. It's like, how can you? I don't know. I mean,
Play
it's cool.
PUBG on mobile.
Yeah, it's cool, but like, how can you even focus on something well enough on a tiny screen in order to be able to compete in that game like that?
Back in my day, that's as big as our TVs were.
Yeah.
Look at Vainglory. Vainglory has but it has a really large competitive scene. It's like super competitive, and that's a mobile. You know.
I guess I can kind of see that. I guess I just have trouble with first-person shooters being on phones.
A mobile. I'm
gonna pull a faux here and be like, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story.
Go ahead.
Do it.
So
go.
I was at my kid's
ahead.
choir concert, and this kid in front of me was actually playing PUBG on his cell phone. And I gotta say, that kid was handling it just like it was on a console or something.
Yeah.
So apparently it transitions over pretty damn well, which is kind of surprising.
I played a game called Respawnables, which is what what Fortnite reminded me of when I first saw Fortnite. Like, it looks just like Respawnables. It has the same type of graphics. It's a shooting game. You run around getting weapons, doing everything you do in Fortnite. And it was a blast, and it played really good on the phone, so I could totally see it happening.
I can tell you right now, I couldn't do it.
I haven't downloaded it yet, but I've heard also, though, I think it was Kamikaze G in our CRR Discord. He recommended that, was it Cyber Judge or Kamikaze? I'll have to look. Sorry, guys, I can't remember who I was talking about this, but they did recommend, because I said I haven't played PUBG yet because I don't want to pay for it and then find out that I don't like it. And they're like, well, hey, download the mobile for free. See if you like it. Then if you like it, buy PUBG. And I was like, oh, you're amazing. That's very brilliant. I did not see this loophole. So if you're like me and you don't know if you will like PUBG on your PC, at least you'll know if you like it on mobile, then you probably most likely would like it on your PC. And Fortnite is still available for testing on iOS right now. Hasn't made its way to Android yet. And what I've been doing is playing a lot of Primitive Plus Official Ark Survival Evolved. And I had downloaded Sims last week, and I talked about it, and now I'm bored of it. It's so... I can't do it. I'm like, I do all that shit in real life. I don't want to do it in game as well. I don't want to clean the countertops. I don't want to talk to strangers to improve. And then, oh my God, that's what that show we were just talking about reminded me of, The Sims, because you can like give people X amount of tickets and it's all about raising your rank and all that. I'm like, I can't do this. And then I watched that show and I'm like, yes, that sealed the deal. So I'm going to have to remove Sims Mobile because I just can't handle it. It's too draining. So
you got to be a different type of person to
I
play
can't
Sims.
do it. I tried it. I can't do it.
So did the crazy bitch that was on your couch that wouldn't talk to you finally leave?
Yeah, she finally wouldn't let me interact with her. She just got up and walked out, and I was like, okay,
Bye,
goodbye.
Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. Not talking to you no more. Yeah,
Should have boxed her in and let her die.
I should have boxed her in.
Should have put her in a
Oh my
pool
God,
and
I
just
didn't
took
even
out the
think about
ladder.
that. Apparently, I've been playing Sims on mobile wrong. I should have just been trapping randos in my house. That's hilarious. God.
Put him in
Hey,
a pool and just take away the
PvP on
ladder and just
PvE.
watch him.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I haven't done that yet, so I got rid of that. But I did hop into Fortnite, and I recorded, Johnny saw my play. I lasted, I don't know. It was cool. It's free, so you can't complain. I thought it was hilarious, because I'm not a serious person, so I love the fact that you can bust out some dance moves, and you get dropped in, you load in from the party bus, and then you get to pick when you want to jump off, and then you got a glider in your inventory, so you can kind of pick, do I want to go over here? Do I want to free fall? Do I want to get my glider? And then when you get close to land anyways, your person automatically pops their glider anyways. And I landed, and then I thought I was far enough out, but apparently I was not. There was some dude with a gun. I ran up to him thinking I could clock him with my pickaxe, but then I saw he had a gun. Nope, not happening. So I beelined it away, and I found a tree fort. I ran up, and so dude was on my tail. I ran up. I didn't know there was already somebody above me in the tree fort. So then I was still trying to figure out my controls. I was seeing if I could get on my belly in prone position. Before the words, I don't know if I can get in prone position, ever left my mouth, I was shot.
And all this happened after you busted a chest instead of opening it.
Johnny will not let me live this down.
Oh gosh.
I did not know how to open this chest. There's this sparkling chest, and I'm whacking at it, because I play Ark. We whack everything with our pickaxe. So,
You know that
could have been
it.
huh?
That could have been the turning point in your game right there. Had you
Shut your
opened that
face,
chest
dude.
instead
Shut
of busting it, you could have actually taken that guy out.
I'm glad your connection right now is crappy. So I don't. No, I'm kidding. So I don't gotta hear you shit talk me. That's right. No, I'm picking on you. But yeah.
Who breaks the gold chests? Who does that?
Esme.
Well, hey,
There's good
here's-
weapons in those things most of
I
the
got
time.
the weapon, though. I got the weapon. I just didn't know that you had to hold down E. It just had the letter E. So I was hitting E. I didn't know I had to hold it down in place while it slowly opened. I'm the person, when I walk up to the automatic door at the grocery store and it's fucking slow, I just whip it open. Because I'm like, I don't got time for that shit. I got time to sit there and wait for the slow-ass door to open. And I didn't have time to sit there and wait for that slow-ass chest to open. So I busted it open. And I got some wood and I got a gun. So that worked for me. And then I ran up a ramp. Huh?
I said, all right then.
Yeah, I have reasons. So,
Did you make a ramp or you ran up someone else's
it was
ramp?
already on the tree fort. And now I did not know. I gotta go back because here's the thing. I had never played. I did not watch any videos on it, and I did not do any research. I literally just jumped in as a Fortnite virgin and just did it that way. So next, I'm going to actually have to do some research because I didn't know how to build anything, and I want to go in with a group of us because I think it'd be better.
One of my
way.
favorite things to do in Fortnite is when someone's building a very long ramp to get up a mountain, is breaking the bottom piece and watching them fall to their deaths. It's the most fun thing.
I've seen
Well,
myself do
Esme,
that about 5 times, and I love it.
Esme, I told you though. I told you you lasted longer than I did my first time. So
he did say I lasted longer than him, and you had backup, right? You said you had some.
right, we were in a squad.
Yeah.
But I can also say that I do have a solo win under my belt. So
Well, see,
No
there you
joke.
go.
Ask my son. My son will tell you he was shocked. My first time playing Fortnite, I came in third place.
No way.
Game one,
Screenshots or it
yeah.
didn't happen. Screenshots or it didn't happen, Fo.
I don't have screenshots of it, so
I actually.
I didn't even know how to take a screenshot of it when I was doing it. So
Yeah, so that's what I've been
everybody
doing.
else on social media, you pull out your phone and take a picture with it.
What's that?
I think you do like everybody else will on social media. You just pull out your phone and take a picture of it.
well, I was on the
Pull it out and take a
PlayStation
picture.
4. All I had to do was hit the
share
photo
button.
Yeah, the share button.
Yes. So that's what I have, and I'm gonna hand it over to Mr. Cricket.
All right, so Ark Park came out today, well, at like midnight this morning, I guess it was, which is the spin-off of Ark Park, or of Ark, for the VR. I actually just had first learned wind of it maybe a month ago when they actually announced the release date for it, and so I was getting ready to buy it. And then I look at my email, and I saw a nice email saying that our friend Luminen gifted me the game.
Aw,
So
you're so cool.
shout out to Luminen, and it's funny because I was actually thinking of gifting it to him had he not bought it himself. So
you guys are so sweet.
So it was just funny that he gifted it to me first when I before I was able to get a chance to buy it.
Isn't that special?
So as I was coming home, I pulled up my Steam app and I told it to install so it'll be ready when I got home. I had a number of things going on tonight, so I didn't get to spend a lot of time on it, but I did get to go through the tutorial. I was before I started playing, I also had read some reviews, which I usually don't do, but when I looked at it, it said it only had like a 51%, but it was only like 15 reviews, and most of what everybody was complaining about was the movement, which is with VR. There's a few different types of movement you can do. There's teleportation, and then there's like actual locomotion. This one has teleportation, which people were complaining about. They're saying, "Oh, I wish it was locomotion, where you basically you just move normally like you would in most games." I haven't played that many VR games yet, so I really don't have a bad opinion about teleportation yet. There was some issues that I noticed. Like I was trying to get to one spot, and it looked like I had to teleport to one place. I would teleport there, and then it wouldn't quite be the right place, and I'd teleport, turn around, and I'd look the other way, and I was having trouble getting to teleport to the actual place where maybe that would be easier by walking. So
Darn teleportation problems.
Yes, that's a little bit of an issue.
It is a really neat game you got to get a stream up to your gameplay, like Luminen did last night. Have you ever done that or no?
I have not. I know that Steam, you can just hit streaming mode on Steam.
Yeah,
but I like to have it where, like, when people have a camera and I could watch, like, them and what they're doing as they're streaming it.
So I could possibly look at getting that set up. I do have an external camera I could hook up, and maybe I'll look into figure that out. I have OBS and I've recorded stuff, but I've never gone through to try to actually stream it. So if anything, I might start off with recording the stuff. Because I haven't set anything up for streaming yet, so maybe I'll do that when I get back from this weekend and start playing it some more. But the tutorial was neat. You start off, you sit in this monorail, and it takes you basically over the ocean towards an island. And as you're going through there, you see some birds fly through. I couldn't tell what they're supposed to be. Whether this was like pelagornises or itchies or something. And then I looked off on the side, and I saw the tail of a Moza, and then they actually point that out. The Moza came over and it came near you.
Yeah.
And kind of popped. And it was just saying hi, is what they said. And then you get to the main compound, which is basically the museum area, because Ark Park is basically think Jurassic Park, and so they have the entrance area there where they have all the exhibits. And so the first exhibit they take you to shows these small-sized holographic dinos, and you can reach down there and you can pick one up, and it's neat when you pick it up. They kind of like wiggle around and kind of squeal and make noises, and you can, if you twist your hand, you twist them, in the basically in all directions, so you can look at them, look at their underside, look at their face and all that stuff, and that's neat. And then behind the whole exhibit, there's a big screen. And if you flick them and toss them towards the screen, then it actually brings up that dinosaur, and it brings up basically, like the dossier about that dinosaur. And then you can just reach down and pick up another one, toss it there, and it pulls up the dossier about that one. So I thought it was neat how you can just pick them up and turn them around, in your hand, to get the, basically all the axes. That was really neat. And then it has you go over onto the big map of the island. And there's more dinosaurs there, and you can pick them up as well. But when you toss them, then they actually grow like full size, and you can kind of walk around, teleport around to see them in different directions. But it's using, it looks like the same models as from Ark, which is cool, because seeing them in the VR is neat. They have
That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah. They have another exhibit there where it's the T-Rex, and you can go and you have a couple commands you can make him do. You can make him do his chomp. You can make him do his roar. You can make him do his squat, which is his poop animation just without actual poop coming out.
Oh, come on.
It is. I tell you what. If you guys get this on a stream, it is hilarious to watch because we were watching Luminen stream it last night. So I would love to see you guys if you get this cricket and stuff. Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah, and so then so there's another aspect where it has like a Parasaur, a Bronto, or Stego, and when you stand in front of them, it has 5 different foods you can pick up. There's like a leaf, there's berries, there's cooked meat, there's like lettuce, and then there's like raw meat. And so you can pick up the food, and as you're moving around in front of the dino, he'll move his face to kind of follow it to try to eat it. And then if you hold it up there, then it shows him come up and eat it right out of your hands. But if you try to give him the meat, he basically ignores it because they're all herbivores. So that's kind of neat how it does all that. But after you finish in that area, then it basically you go off on the jungle path, where you go and you start to learn the basics about storage and some of the items. So you go over there and there's a storage bin, and you pick up your dino scanner and your spray painter. Oh, and a trike egg. And then it says, "Oh, let's hatch an egg." So you take the trike egg, you go over, you drop in the incubator, and in this case, it only took 15 seconds, but then it actually it hatched in 15 seconds, and then it's sitting there growing, and it took maybe 5 minutes to grow to full size. And you had to feed it once, and it says once you feed it one time, then it'll be kind of your friend for life. And then after it's fully grown, then it tells you, take it for a ride. So you hop on the back of its saddle, and it does a kind of ride on rails where you're sitting there on the back of this trike as it's walking down this path. And you're looking around, you're going past other trikes and pteranodons and brontos, and I took a couple screenshots that I'll have to put up somewhere during it, because you can take the screenshots through the visor of your camera or the visor of your headpiece, which is kind of neat. And then as you get to the end of that, then you hear an alarm go off that one of the components is getting attacked, so you have to make your way back, and in order to protect it, you need a gun. So then it takes you into the basics of crafting. And so the first thing you do is you pick up the dino scanner, which then there's a Mesopithecus there, and you basically scan its face, and you get some DNA gene data from scanning it. And you picked up a pickaxe, and you have to go over to a tree and actually swing your hand to whack the tree in order to get wood.
That's cool. It's cool to watch too. It really is.
And then you have to put these gloves on. You go over to a bush, and you have to kind of scoop your hand in order to grab fiber from the bush, and then you take those over, and then you can craft your pistol.
It's funny too. Did you have like those little robot claw thingies like Luminen had, like before you put gloves on or anything? Yeah,
that's the graphic that it gives you for.
It is hilarious to watch
for your controllers.
Because Luminen put his gloves. What were you saying, Johnny?
I was going to say my favorite part of watching Luminen stream was him realizing that he had his hands on backwards.
It was hilarious. Because I'm not a stream watcher. I can't, my attention is never, I'm always being able, my free time is spent playing the game. So I'm not, I don't have time to really watch the game, like someone else do a stream. Unless they're like a friend or something like that. But, I could not pull myself away last night. It was so intriguing watching all of this new stuff and hearing him run into stuff. And I agree with Full, it would be so funny to have a webcam on you while you're VRing and then have that split screen. Oh my God, that is freaking streaming gold right there, honestly, because it was so hilarious. That's your mission, man. I really hope you can get a stream up, Cricket, because I would be watching you guys stream your shit all the time because it's so funny. It was so funny.
So do you want the webcam just on the desk watching me move around, or on my shoulder watching my motions move around?
However anybody feels comfortable doing it, I think it's all about the streamer. But my God, it was because just hearing Luminen go, "Oh, that's my desk. Oh, that." I just tripped on something. You know, and we were just cracking up because he was streaming it to Mixer and we were in Discord with him. And it was just funny. And then to see like because he was just doing the tutorial and like he picked up like the piranha and it was like flopping around in his hand.
Yep.
And he was like, ugh, like, because he could feel it like vibrate in his hand. And then we could see it.
Ew.
It was a really cool interaction.
Man, I might have to start streaming.
He ended up throwing that piranha like 5 or 6 times. He's
Yeah,
like, get out of here.
He would throw it and it would explode and then we would laugh. Like, it was just funny. And it was also 4 a.m, so
I want VR to be like that movie. What was that movie?
Hardcore Harry?
No, not Gamer. Yeah, Gamer.
Oh yeah.
I want it to be like the movie Gamer.
That was a decent movie. But so then after I created my pistol, then I went into the shooter game, which is very much like the shooter game arcade in Island 359 that I talked about last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, 2 weeks ago, I guess, where you're standing in one location and dinos start coming up and you have to hold you shoot them down with your pistol. I did find with that one, since I only had one pistol, and the pistol actually had a front sight post and like a rear sight aperture, that I could, if I move the pistol in the right way, I could line up, like I would a real pistol, or I'd line up the rear sight aperture and the front sight posts to be able to aim down. And so I found instead of reaching straight out holding my pistol, I was actually pulling it up, closer to my face and actually closing one eye in order to kind of, like I would be shooting a real pistol, because it gave me the better vision in the game, with just closing one eye and just having the one open. So I found that interesting, that it actually worked out well that way. So then I shot all the dinos, and then I saved the thing, and then it finished the tutorial for me. And I started the single player, but I got maybe 5 minutes into it before I had to log off. And essentially all it did was it took me to the same museum area where I was in the tutorial. And that's as far as I had gotten on that. There is a multiplayer version, multiplayer mode for it, which I'll be interested to see what that does.
It's pretty soon they'll just turn it into full-blown Ark, and
yeah, that could be cool. It does say that you can like raise dinos and stuff like that, so I'm interested to see what all it's going to have. I know yesterday some of us, when we were in Ark and we were messing with claiming dinos and going into some of the radio menus, a few of us noticed that there was an option called Export Dino, and we were trying to figure out what that did, because we had never seen the option before. I was thinking maybe it was a way to upload dinos up into the obelisk instead of, without having to go to the obelisk. But when I looked it up this morning, I saw that it's a feature that helps to support Ark Park. So I don't know what exactly it does. I did log into Ark earlier tonight, and I went to some of the dinos and I said export dino, and it popped up a thing saying, dino data has been exported for use or something like that.
Oh, I remember that. But it wasn't on all the dinos though, right? It was just on the Wyvern, right?
I did it on a Dilo, 2 of our Rexes, a Pteranodon, and our Mammoth today.
I did it last night on the Pteranodon, and nothing like that popped up. There was no option, so maybe it was baked, because I did do another.
It's because you're at 3.9 rating and you're not rated high enough.
You know what? 1 star. Me, 1 star. Your face.
But yeah, I don't know what might have made it one way or the other. I did it on a Dilo first, just in case it did do something where it would upload it to the obelisk, but it stayed there, so nothing disappeared. So then I went to one of our painted Rexes and one of our non-painted Rexes to see whether it actually pulls the paint in, because it obviously does have the ability to do paint, because that's part of the game. So I'm curious to see whether it's going to pull the paint job into the game. But I'm not sure where exactly it's gonna allow me to use this data that I uploaded. But I assume at some point it's gonna let me use it. Maybe it's just gonna let me browse them and see them. Maybe it's gonna let me use those dinos or something. I don't know yet. So I'll try that out later this week when I get a chance to spend some more time on that game.
I think you're gonna have a blast.
I think I am too.
Because last night, Luminant, because he was talking to Yogi in Discord, and he was like, yeah, because everybody was kind of on the fence about it, and so Luminant got it, and he was like, yeah, he definitely has to get this. And just from like what we were watching, what we noticed last night was that all of the new dino models that are in Ark Survival Evolved that they just have pushed through with like the TLC 1 and 2, like they're already in Ark Park.
Oh yeah,
like they were
the
already.
Argentavis was there.
They were already in. The Raptors were already there. He said there's a different, like a sea turtle in that game right now. So it's like.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he did. Like he was on the
awesome.
thing we were watching. So it was like he couldn't believe that they already had it that much up to date because those Argent models just had dropped and it was already in Ark Park, which good on them that they had it ready to go when they released it in their big So, I mean, that's cool that they did that follow through, but geez, it made me super jealous. Like, I'm not a jealous person, but I was like, damn, Luminen, I want me some VR and I want it now. Like, it looked like so much fun. It was cool.
So now I'm curious because, like I said, since the models look the same, I'm wondering whether they actually just use like the same files, like the same U assets.
If they do, whatever they got to do to make their because they are spreading themselves like across all the different platforms. So if they can make it as easy as possible to shoot out those updates across all those, that's better for all of us because we were pretty impressed that it was that fast and they had those updates. That was pretty impressive.
Let me look right here. I mean, let's see this. It looks like it might be. I mean, the setup thing is the same. I mean, it has .u asset files that look like they're named the same as any other one. So yeah, they might just be using the same exact asset files. Especially if both games were developed in Unreal, why not reuse your stuff?
Yeah,
exactly.
Speaking of reuse.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Speaking of reuse of stuff with Unreal, one thing I did notice during the Unreal.
The video, right?
Well, during the talk yesterday, because I watched some of it. The game Paragon that they were working on, and then shut down. They basically turned all of the models for that game, which is a lot of different character models. They put them for public consumption, so they're assets now for any game developer to use for their game, which I just thought was really cool of them to say, hey, we failed at our game, but we have some pretty badass looking models here because they're pretty photorealistic models. We have some badass models here, so just feel free to use them for your own game. Developers.
Hey,
so I thought
Cricket,
that was
what was the game that went during that talk? It was Concrete something where you could like paint on the buildings and all that.
I'm not sure.
Because I remember it came on before the guys from Wildcard was there, but they were showing it going through and like you could paint on the buildings and then it would come to life and all that, and it was pretty cool. I wish I could remember the name of it though.
Yeah, I only got to watch a little bit of the keynote because I was having issues with the audio, and then I had to go back to work because it was at lunchtime. And so yeah, I'm not sure what game that was.
Are you talking about the one where they spray painted like the yin and the yang and they came to life?
Yes.
I know what you're talking about, but I have no idea what game it was.
Yeah, I want to say it was Concrete something but I don't remember.
Concrete Jungle or something maybe.
Probably.
That sounds like a good name. But that's all I have to say about Ark Park for this week.
Dope.
So it looks like Electron is next.
All right. Well, okay. So I'm going to be a little bit quick on the first couple things because there's not a whole lot to it. Just wanted to mention real quick in case you're interested that PlayStation right now has what they are calling their Great Indoors Sale. So check out the link in the show notes. It's running through March 27th. So there are discounts on a whole bunch of games. So if you like PlayStation,
they have a sale
games,
so much, like all the time.
Yeah, they have so many sales. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, if you like discounts on PlayStation games, check it out. It might be something you're interested in. The next thing I wanted to talk about was Oculus has announced a new VR headset called the Oculus Go, and it is going to be a wireless or wire-free standalone headset. So essentially, kind of like if you know what. Well, no. It's more like a Gear VR, except you don't have to have a phone. It's just all its own little VR headset thing.
Okay, well, because the HTC announced the Vive Pro recently, which is their wireless VR headset
Right.
that's going
Well,
to be coming
this
out.
is more of a budget model type of thing.
That's good.
It's going to be $200, and it's just a standalone headset that you can download like VR apps to. Is what as far as I understand it. They don't have a whole lot of detail on what's going on with that. The other thing is, it does come with a little handheld motion controller thingy. So
They
it'll
better
be
have the remote.
it'll be a little bit higher tier than just your standard Gear VR that you can use with a Samsung phone or whatever. Which, by the way, I have one of those. It's pretty cool. I haven't actually used it a whole lot, but the couple times I've used it, it's been cool. I've actually used it, that in particular, to just watch Netflix on a big theater screen. Because that's pretty fun. But anyway, so looks like it might be pretty cool. There's a kind of a hands-on look that Engadget did, which I provide a link to in the show notes as well. So go ahead and check that out if that's something that you're interested in. Most of what I want to talk about tonight is recently I've been playing Subnautica, which I know a couple people have talked about on the show before a little bit. But so my friends, one of my friends has been playing this, and I was like, okay, I've heard the people on the podcast talking about it, and he's been playing it, and I watched him, just do a Steam broadcast or whatever. Just watched him play for a while. And I was like, oh, well, this looks really cool. I think I want to play that. And so I played it a little bit because he has his Steam library shared with me, and I got hooked. I was like, mostly because I got to play like an hour or maybe 2 hours, and then he started using his Steam library again. I was like, but I need to play more. I need to play more of this. I can't stop now. It's like, I was playing it for free, but I'm just going to buy it. So I went and bought it.
Oh, there you go. That's why they do that.
Yeah. Well, it works. It's great.
Yeah,
So
it's handy.
I really like this game. It is a survival game, somewhat in the vein of Ark Survival Evolved, just because you've got to gather resources and build stuff and survive, right? Now, so you can make some comparisons to that, but what stands out to me is how the game mechanics in that game flow out of the setting. Number one, and how polished the game is overall. Ark is cool. It's great, and some parts of it are very polished, and then some parts of it just aren't. But that's Ark, and we love it. So,
Exactly.
with all its worth. So I'm not knocking Ark, just using it as a point of comparison since we play it so much. Now, one thing I will say about Subnautica is you can build habitats, and if part of your habitat is sticking up out of the water, if you're inside the habitat, you can still see like the surface of the water with rolling waves and stuff like that in the in the top of the habitat. So it's not all there, but it's pretty polished in general. But without spoiling too much, what I mean about the mechanics fitting the setting is this. So the idea is your ship has crash landed on a planet. It's mostly covered in water. So if you're super afraid of underwater, maybe not the game for you, but at the same time, like the water in this game scares me less than the water in Ark, mostly because I feel more prepared for it. So if you can handle the underwater in Ark at all, you should be able to handle this game.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody who plays that game absolutely loves it.
Yeah.
I've not heard anybody say anything negative about it at all.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that one on VR as well.
Oh man, that sounds amazing. But yeah, so parts of the wreckage from this big ship that you crash land on is spread out all over. And so you've got a data pad that's got some information for an emergency. You get launched out in an escape pod, essentially, a life pod they call it, and it floats, and it's got a little fabricator that can build things, and a little locker for you to store things in, and you pretty much start from nothing, and you've got to gather stuff, like most survival games, and you build up from nothing and go from there. But so you have a data pad that's got some basic survival information and some basic things that you can build, I think, and a scanner. I forget if you start with it or if you have to build it. Do you know, Cricket?
The scanner you have to build.
You build the scanner. Okay. But yeah, so you can gather parts or just materials from the things that are around underwater, and you can build the scanner. And if you scan, so in the wreckage are like parts of different tools and items and things like that were on your ship. And if you scan enough different parts with a scanner, it starts building up information on that part in your data pad, and eventually you get a full blueprint to be able to make it yourself. So I think that's a neat way to progress your character. Like, eventually you gain knowledge and add more to your data bank, and run into things and have encounters and all this kind of stuff. I think that just the progression system in that game and the way they it just all fits in with the overarching story and what's going on in your situation is really neat. So I'm a big fan. I'm definitely going to be continuing to play that. And once I get further in the story, I look forward to comparing notes with the rest of you guys on that who have played it a little more than I have.
Right on.
Super dope.
Super, super dope.
Green.
So, speaking of 1 stars.
Speaking of super dopes.
Yeah, no, I wasn't giving a foe a super dope. He's been handing out 2 stars all night long, so he does not.
Wow.
He does not get a super dope.
I also think it's getting a bit late, so I'm probably going to log off.
What?
You know me.
You're heading off before last call? How?
I know. I'm
Ridiculous.
sorry.
Willie.
And he's
For the
only
love
like,
For the
okay.
love of biscuits. It's not like we talked about a TV
That's messed
show
up,
for
bro.
500 years. Good Lord.
Oh, gosh. It was fun, though. So,
All right. Well, thank you. And you have a good night, Electron.
yep. You guys too. Talk to you later.
We will carry forth without you.
Okay.
All right. All right, Faux Render.
1 star for him.
1 star
Okay.
for Electron.
1 star for
Getting 1 stall
Electron.
all
For
around.
the
As a matter of
love
fact, I'm blocking him on all my social media.
You better
Nope.
not.
Actually,
not
that's
gonna be-
that's a different Black Mirror
He's not
episode.
going to be able to get into TeamSpeak now. He doesn't have enough stars to record. Ridiculous. Oh, goodness sakes. All right, Faux. Well, what do you have? First, what's your rating? What's your rating at right now?
5.0.
Liar.
3.
You're a fucking liar. Fucking
5.0.
liar.
All right, 4.9.
Negative 4.9. All right, here's your baton. I'm passing it to you. It's
All
your
right,
turn.
well, I'm going to accept your baton and meet you with...
You have no choice.
Our
Just take it, Faux. Take it and talk.
I'm taking it.
Don't
Take it
tell
and
me
twirl
what to
it.
do. Don't tell me what to do.
Do not tell me what my life is.
All right.
I know where I come from. I know who I am.
Okay.
All right, well, I played a little match. It's Fight Night matchup between
Oh my God.
Faux Render, who is me, in one corner,
Holy shit, that's so true.
and the towering behemoth Primitive Plus in the
oh
other
my
corner.
goodness.
This was an
I
absolute...
gotta find that image. You shared in the
Nightmare.
general chat and put it in our show notes. Because that was brilliant.
ridiculous. First of all, okay,
Found
we have a podcast about Ark, and I'll probably talk about this tomorrow. too, a little bit.
RatedArk.com.
Yes, and I'll probably talk about this on there a little bit too. So I'm not going to get too much into it tonight because I'll save that for tomorrow's Rated Arc. But I spent a good portion of my weekend trying to get a little thing called Primitive Plus to work for me because I just refused to. And not only that, in order to get Primitive Plus to work, Ark's like, guess what, dude? I'm not going to work either as a whole. So not only can you not get into Primitive Plus, but we're not going to allow you to get into Ark. Okay? That's what we're doing to you right now.
So
I
your
had
low rating.
So I had to jump through a plethora of hoops. I was dodging jabs. I was trying to hit him with counter him with the uppercut. Oh, there's the picture right there.
Yeah, I put it in.
Round 5 was the final
God,
round.
It was hilarious.
So anyway, I wound up
The look
figuring
on
it
your
out.
face. You're
I know.
like shooting lasers at it.
I'm
Like-
shooting lasers at Primitive Plus. It knows I got its number.
Oh, God.
So basically, I had to go through hoops. I had to do a bunch of research. Cricket was trying to help me. Falloon was trying to help me. Everybody was, of course, very helpful and tried to try and get me going. And they actually did point me in the right direction. There was just a couple of things I had to try and figure out for my own PC, for my own situation. And I figured it out. So I had to basically totally remove Arc from my PC. Then I thought I had removed it. I reinstalled it, which, is a nightmare. It takes a long time to reinstall. Then I had to, in order to remove it fully, not only did I have to remove it from Steam, because when you hit uninstall, you think, what does that do? Uninstall the game?
Yeah,
No.
you would think.
It doesn't. It uninstalls it. It makes you think it's uninstalled, but it's hidden within the files of your computer. So you have to go in, and you have to get rid of all that stuff. So I finally did all that. I finally got Ark back on. I was able to play Ark, but I still couldn't load in to Primitive Plus. It kept on giving me this like Snowbank error, 57, whatever it was. And then I had to go into Ark Steam page. I found a really helpful article, and I had to go in there. I had to click off all the maps and Primitive Plus, which uninstalls it from the game. Then I had to go into the shooter file and take out the mod folder and erase all that stuff. And then then reinstall all that stuff. And then I had to install everything one at a time, because they're saying what happens is when you download the game, it installs it all at once, and sometimes it gets all like mixed up. And so I took the time and did it one by one, each map at one at a time. Then I did that one at a time, and I got it to work finally.
Yay!
That's the short story of it. I'll talk a little bit more in depth.
It took
I feel so bad for you because it literally
was a whole weekend.
Like 4 to 5.
I know.
Yeah, it was like a whole weekend. It was like my whole weekend. It was annoying.
It was horrible.
Yeah, that reminds me of like Rocky 4 when he's fighting the big Russian. Big Russian kicked his ass until like right at the end. Yeah.
True. You nailed it, Johnny. That's exactly how it was. I feel it. Yeah, that's exactly how it was.
But that's because Foe has the heart of a fighter, and he just don't give up.
He does. He doesn't. He doesn't give up, and he does have the heart of a fighter because, and it's almost.
I wanted to give up.
It's sucky because, we're listening to him, and it sucks because there's, nothing we can do to help him but give him moral support, because we've all been there at one point or another playing Ark, and it's just yeah, dude. We all just give him our generic solutions and hope that they work, but we really have no effing clue, how we're going to make him get into the game. But I'll be right back.
Because you sit there and talk to you for 20 minutes, and then it's just you downloading the rest of the night. It's that
exactly
sucks.
It sucked. So then
I was gonna suggest a big hammer, but I just didn't want to put salt in the wound.
I came close to, believe me.
It would have been a wrench, not a hammer.
But on the
Whatever
flip side,
it was.
you had plenty of time.
It was whatever I had handy is what would have done the job, or just pick it up and let it just launch the thing out my window. So besides that, in between not getting Ark to work, I was playing some Fortnite on my PlayStation 4 while I was waiting for Primitive Plus to load onto my PC. Trying to get that going. I decided to jump over to my PlayStation, which always works. Good old PlayStation. And I fired up some Fortnite, and let me tell you something about Fortnite. There are definitely people in Fortnite that are running aimbots. It's just happening. There's no way you're going to tell me there's no aimbots in that game. I'm sorry. Not buying it.
There's no aimbots in that game.
There's no aimbots in that game.
Not buying it. You could tell that to somebody else. Because there are a couple of times where when I get killed in the game, I don't really care. I don't get pissed off. It's just, it's whatever it is. It comes with that game. You're not going to win every game. And I don't care if I legitimately get killed by somebody, they catch me off guard, they're hiding behind a refrigerator, and I walk by and they blast me in the back because they're little camping son of bitches. I don't mind about that stuff. I don't mind, I land someplace, I didn't get a weapon in time, and someone blasts me, whatever, I don't care. Now, let me tell you, if I'm sitting there and I'm chasing you, and you build a ramp, and you're running up a ramp, and then from the top of the ramp, as you're falling down, you headshot me with a shotgun, I'm calling poppycock.
Combo crap.
And,
all right, I'm back. What did I miss?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about Fortnite and the fact that people are definitely running aimbots in that game.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not being a sore loser.
Aimbots.
And I'm not
You're
being a
just
sore
being
loser.
a realist.
I'm just being a realist. It's for reals. Because there are times where it's I understand the once in a while lucky miracle shot. But it seems like every other game, there's miracles happening. Okay, I'm sorry. This many miracles don't happen. If I'm running and jumping and dipping and bobbing and weaving, and you're sitting there shooting at me with that little machine gun pistol, that's friggin' bullshit. They can hit the broader side of a friggin' barn with it. And you're just hitting me 3 times and I'm down from far. No, I'm not buying it. Not buying what you're selling.
Is that game a crossover with?
Yeah, it is.
Is it crossover? They
Yeah,
want to do it. I don't think
they
they
want
crossed
to do
over
it.
yet.
Yeah.
They're going to do it, though.
It was Sea of Thieves that has successfully been doing
going
the
back and
crossover
forth.
stuff. Yeah.
So anyway, I just feel like this. I just feel like there are some people. You know what? And know what's the funny thing is, I had a friend on the PlayStation 4. He was a master at these games, man. His name was Get Owned, because like he would kill people, and he got banned a couple of times because people just like. But I would run around with him, and I'm like, he's not cheating, because I'm with him, and we would play games like Battlefield and Destiny, and he was a powerhouse. My son would actually get a little bit upset. He's like, Dad, he's like, because my son's really good at the games, and he's like, I don't know how he's getting these like kill death ratios. They're crazy. I'm like, I know, he's just that good. And I would be running around, and I would be playing with him. And then the most bullshit of it is he gets mad at me because, or at like everybody, because there would be times where we would be playing in like a tournament or something, and we'd get, shot or not kill enough people. And like, he's like, dude, it's like, I'm tired of carrying this team. And he would get mad. And we were like, dude, first of all, chill out, because we're about to just kick you out of our clan. I don't care how good you are. Stop being a baby. You know what I'm saying? So that was annoying, but he was super good. And then one night we're playing Ark, and the truth came out. And know how I got it out of him? Because I was too lazy to go and look at what he was trying to get me to look at. And I forced him into telling me what he was really doing. So we're playing Ark, and he wanted to raid a base. And I was too lazy to raid a base. I was like, dude, I don't feel like raiding a base. I'm like, I don't feel like, what if there's somebody in there? We got to deal with them. I don't feel like doing it. Like, dude, there's nobody in the base. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about, nobody in the base? How do you know there's nobody in the base? We're sitting there, and you can't even see behind their walls. We don't even know if there's anybody in the base. You can't fly over their base because you're going to get shot by 400 million freaking Plant Species X or whatever. It was a big base he wanted to raid. I was like, dude, I don't feel like doing it tonight. I was like, if there was nobody on for sure, I would maybe do it, but I just don't feel like dealing with it. He's like, dude, there's nobody there. I guarantee it. So we went back and forth for like 10 minutes. And then he's like, there's nobody there. I'm running a bot. I can see there's nobody there. This motherfucker ran hacks.
Oh, man.
I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yes, I'm running a bot, and I can see there's nobody there right now. I'm like,
what?
You cheat. I was like, first of all,
yeah, no shit.
I was like, you sat there. Like, I don't even mind if you're going to go and cheat. That's how you want to play the game. That's on you. Right. I don't even care. But don't sit there. But don't sit there and play Destiny with us and Battlefield with us and rack up these KDs and then brag about how awesome you are.
Exactly.
And then bitch about how when we're in a tournament and we did a couple of things wrong and you had to kill everybody. I'm like, dude, you didn't kill nobody, dude. Yeah. Your aimbot killed everybody.
No kidding.
Do you want to know how many times I was like 3 kills underneath him? I was like, dude, if you didn't have that aimbot, you'd probably be like in the bottom of the pack.
Right.
So okay. After that night, he eventually he kind of got like embarrassed, and he like never came back.
He should be. He's like, do you feel like that maybe because the Fortnite Battle Royale is a free to play, like it is opening itself up to pretty much anybody and everybody, and including people who don't want to pay what is PUBG, like $30, like $29.99?
After I found out that this dude was running these hacks, and he was in Ark running him, no problem.
Yeah.
Getting around PvP? Battle Eye and everything on PvP.
Really? Wow. Yeah.
So here's the thing. I started to look into it, and I had my son look into it.
Exactly. Those are the people to go to.
So he's like, Dad, you could pay like $30 a month, and they give you bots to use, and whenever they put out like a battle eye to like get rid of it, since you're paying the $30 a month, they give you a new one. They constantly update it and they constantly fix it.
It's a participation award, of course.
Exactly. So they're like, as long as you want to keep cheating, these hackers will keep on giving you the tools to do it, as long as you're paying their monthly service. So I was
crazy.
Like, yeah, and I know for a fact. So like in a game like Fortnite, when I was playing, I was like, there is no way that certain things are done. And believe me, I'm not the type of person to downplay nobody's gameplay. It's just that I just know it because
but that's not their gameplay.
These miracles are happening too much.
Yes, exactly. That is so crazy. It's like the Plenty of Fish version of like eHarmony. Like I've had friends that like put their dating profiles up on eHarmony and they like pay the like monthly thing, but if you go on Plenty of Fish, it's like Tinder. You can get anything with legs that way. Yeah. And I feel like Fortnite is is Plenty of Fish, and like PUBG might be like eHarmony. Like you actually have to pay a subscription.
They should totally rename Plenty of Fish to Plenty of Whales.
Yeah.
Sad part is
hilarious though, but like I don't know if whales is the right term. I feel like it should be like gobies. It should be like some junk fish that's out in, doing
Plenty
nothing
of
but
blobfish.
the reason why he left our clan,
blobfish.
and the reason why he left us was because he knows how anti-cheetah we were when we had to fight those Asian tribes that ran all the hacks.
Exactly.
He knows how like annoyed we were at it. So I think when he got caught, he was kind of like
the Dickie versus the turtleneck. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like that. If you're going to do good in the game, do good in the game on your own merit. Don't freak. If you have to pay a bot $30 a month to win a game, you're shit, and you should just unsub.
Don't let me be looking at you and thinking you have a turtleneck on, and then you take your jacket off and it's a Dickie.
You're just
okay,
a Dickie.
I don't fucking want to see that.
Stop being a Dickie. Stop paying the $30 monthly subscription and fucking work on your skills, man. Like, why are you? Come on. You cannot go to bed at night and feel like you're a badass gamer when you fucking pay somebody to win a game.
All credibility to me.
Give me a break. Come
on. He was trying to argue the fact. He was like, well, the aimbot's not like 100%. I'm like, he's like, yeah, it locks onto people's heads.
So
I was like, oh,
it's like playing fucking Duck Hunter back in the day.
He's
when
like,
you put your
but
gun
you still,
right up to the
but
screen.
he's like, yeah, he's like, you still got to know the map and know where to go. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but you're locking on the headshots every shot. Like, come on.
What the hell? It's like, come on. No.
Don't be dumb.
No, exactly. Don't be dumb. Don't be a hack. I mean, come on. Stop being lazy. It's the people that have the real skills that are making the real deals, people. Come on.
Word. So that was that. So I played a little bit Fortnite.
What?
And then also during this downtime of Primitive Plus loading, I played some Heroes of the Storm. They came out with a bunch of new characters, and every time I go...
Why don't we play together?
We should. I'm down.
We should.
Every time
we'll make nights again.
Yeah, let's do it. Every time I go back to Heroes of the Storm, I'm like, why do I not play this more often? Like,
I'm
it's
a scrub, though. Are you willing to play with a scrub?
I'm willing to play with whoever. I don't give a crap.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I do like Heroes of the Storm so much better than League of Legends.
We could even play. We could even play against bots. That's fun too.
Yeah,
you put the bots on hard. If you put them on like really hard, it's not an easy win. Like
we'll
it's
start out
tough.
on bots and then we'll move up.
Exactly. You can do whatever you want to do. Right.
And so
we'll do that.
I find when I play like Heroes of the Storm against bots, even if they're even if I put them like super hard and they're murdering me, I get less ragey than if I'm playing against some person.
Oh, definitely.
There's some person like, that's bullshit. There's no way you got that on me. But against a bot, it's like, well,
you are a computer. You're doing everything perfect because you're a computer. So.
Right.
But yeah, so I prefer going against bots and those. I just, crank them up, to make it difficult. But yeah, against people, I've gotten fed up too much.
And then I was playing some Shadespire. I talked about that last week, about that fun game. I got those Stormcast dudes painted, the guys in the armor with the shields.
Ooh, those pictures. Your new desk is doing you wonders, right? Like you get to carry on your... Yeah, that's amazing. I'm glad that everybody shares their hobbies and stuff in our Discord. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's totally fun. I love that section of our Discord. So I got those guys done. So now I'm working on some dwarves, which is another faction within Shadespire.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm painting up the dwarves. I'm going to make them look like kind of like rock dwarves with like flaming beards. That's going to be really fun. So I'm doing that.
You should, after this, take some pictures and post them for me.
They're like nowhere near done. I got one dude's beard done so far. It's a process. So then I was playing that samurai card game a little bit more, and in my clan, I'm Phoenix Clan, I'm changing up my splash. And what the splash is every clan is allowed to add a little bit of cards from another clan into your deck. It's called splash. So you could take like an ally clan and like add some of their cards into your deck to help you out. So I changed up my splash because I had Lion Splash, which is a Lion Clan, and it wasn't working for me. So I changed it over to Scorpion, which is going to be a little bit more sneaky, going after the honor, trying to like get them to lose all their honor, so I could be victorious and out honor them.
What's the name of that card game?
Legend of the Five Rings. Legend of
Oh,
the Five
okay.
Rings.
L5R.
Yeah.
Okay.
L5R. So I was playing that game, so I changed up the splash, and that's been a lot of fun so far. And then I'm cracking open a little series called the King Killer Chronicles. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I'm excited to get into it. I was looking for a new series to read into, some like novels to like get into, read on the train, read on the way home, read on the way there. So, and I was going to go back and read some older stuff that I really liked, but I was like, you know what, let me start something new. So I decided to get into this King Killer Chronicles because I heard a lot of good things about it. And I've been reading a lot of sci-fi lately, so this will be cool to get back more into the fantasy stuff. And that's basically what I've been doing. That's been me.
Awesome.
You also tried out a little bit of Crossout too, didn't you?
I didn't try it out yet, but I did download it, and I got my first pickup truck. I did play a little bit of it. I was driving around shooting some of the bots, and that was kind of cool. It's like you have this car, and I had some machine guns on my pickup truck, and I was just driving around, just mowing down some vehicles. That's a game that looks like it could be a total blast to play, especially with a bunch of friends. Can you play with friends in that game? I don't even know.
Yeah, you can squad up in like teams of 4 or 5 or whatever, and that's something that I've been playing for like a year now. It's been out for a while. I'm probably going to talk about it at some point in depth, but yeah, it's kind of like Twisted Metal meets like Car Mechanic Simulator, because you build from the ground up. You do everything, frame, wheels, the cab, everything, and I'm telling you, once you get into some of the more advanced builds, it becomes more of a challenge, but it's really rewarding when you finally get that build that works for you and you start dominating people. It is a blast. You hit it right on the head. It's definitely a blast.
Twisted Metal, my favorite guy was the Humvee dude. I love that car, so I might try and like build a similar build to that. Something with a lot of missiles. So
yeah,
there's take a few punches.
There's a cab on there called the Jawbreaker that's a Humvee cab, and yeah, you can build it up like that. That's definitely a possibility. What you'll have to do, which I know I'm kind of just going to go short into this, but you'll have to get up to the point where you can join the Steppenwolf's faction, and that will unlock a lot of APC parts for you, and so you can actually get that real like Humvee look on it. But yeah, it's definitely one to try out if you haven't, and it's all platforms too. So
I like that sort of thing, man. I love Twisted Metal, so when you were talking about it, I was like, I would definitely give this a try because it sounds super cool.
Yeah, we need to team up sometime and go bust some skulls.
What was that movie with what's his name? Statham. What was that movie where
Death Race.
Death Race. Like, I like those movies. I watched the first one, the second one. I like them.
Was this called Crossout? Is that what you guys
Crossout? Yeah.
Crossout. Okay.
So yeah, I'm probably gonna talk about it in depth on one of the shows at some point.
Yeah, so it's on Steam for us. Is it on PS4 as well?
Yeah, Xbox, PS4, PC, on everything.
But it's not you can't cross streams.
No, it's not crossplay that I know of.
It is free to play for us on Steam. It's free to play. Was it free to play for you guys?
It's free to play because they're still in open beta. They've been in open beta for like 2 years.
I was gonna say, yeah, because we have another.
I'm sure they get you to buy like parts and everything to like get the good vehicles.
You can buy the coins. You can buy packs that have like pre-made vehicles with the parts and stuff, and you can use those parts on other builds. But the cool thing about it, you don't have to buy anything to be able to be successful, and that's one of the things I'll end talking about in depth. But there is a marketplace on there that is player driven. Things like resources or cabs or wheels or stuff that you get that you don't need, you can sell them on the market and use those coins to buy things that you actually want. It does take a little bit of strategy to be able to play the market and make coins on there, but it can be done. And I've seen a lot of forum posts where people say, "Oh, it's pay to win. It's pay to win. You have to put in money to be worth a crap at Crossout." You don't. You just have to know how to play the market. And I think in the last 2 or 3 weeks that I've actually been trying to play the market strategically, I've made close to 1,000 coins on there. So it's not a big amount considering how much some of the higher tier weapons cost, but it's a start.
Absolutely. I'm going to put your link in the show notes. At least it's our link.
Cross out.
For Steam. I
So-
don't know if I don't have
So
the
to go
PS4
so go back a little bit. You had talked about a new book series that you're starting.
Yeah, the King Killer Chronicles.
Did you ever read the Chronicles of Amber?
No.
It was a series back in the '80s by an author named Rogers Leslie. I found it really interesting. It's a fantasy series. It's very story driven about this this family that has these magical powers. I can talk about it a different time, but
Well, if you want a really fun read and you're into like alternate history a little bit, there's this guy, Turtle Dove, and that's his name. I don't know if I mean, that might be his real name, but he goes by something Turtle Dove. So if you look up Turtle Dove, you can find
is
him.
it two Turtle Dove?
I don't remember. No, it's not that. So he likes to write a lot of
Weirdo.
books. He likes to write a lot of books on like alternate history. Like he has one book, if like what if in the Civil War, like the South had like advanced technology guns, like guns that we have now, like what would have happened or like what happens, things like on that. But he did this one series which was really cool, where this Roman legion and this barbarian tribe were having a war, and the barbarian leader and the Roman general each had these like ornate swords that had magical properties they didn't know about. So when they clashed on the battlefield, everybody in that area of like, say like that whole battle that was taking place, like a little bit less than that battle. So say like a football field's worth, that all those people within that football field's like zone got teleported into another world, which was like a real fantasy setting. So you had this Roman legion and this barbarian tribe, and they had to kind of band together and try and live in this new world that they're like outcasts in. They're not really outcasts, so they wound up becoming part of a kingdom because they're really good soldiers. Like the Roman legion, they were way advanced for like medieval times. You know what I'm saying? So that's a really cool, really fun book to read too.
I want to say that I had heard of that book before.
Yeah, and there's like a little bit of magic. Like the magic in it is very like low key. There's like a little bit of magic. It's really cool. It's a really good book series.
But yeah, the Chronicles of Amber, it's this family line. It's essentially they're kind of like, it's crosses multiple dimensions, and this family line, they have the ability to, they're from the prime dimension, which is called Amber, and all the other dimensions are kind of shadows of that, where things are just different in one way or the other, and they have the power to cross the dimensions. And there's a lot of family intrigue, and basically it's like one patriarch, but then he had like 4 or 5 wives, and some of the kids were from the different ones, and they were all fighting over position of who was going to be the next in line for for being the ruler and all kinds of stuff. And just the storyline was really cool. The first 5 books are about the one main character, and the second 5 books in the series are about his son. But yeah, if you get a chance, I recommend the read. It might be hard to find them because they're older books. But yeah, Rogers Leslie and the Chronicles of Amber.
I'll look into that.
Awesome. While you guys are talking, I'm totally bombing the music bot commands to all the crazy songs.
That's funny.
Oh
Real
my
nice
God.
when we get back over
In
there. It's like,
Discord,
what the
yeah.
hell is this?
I added, you remind me of the babe. What babe? The babe with the power. What power? Out from Labyrinth. I added that. It's just Goon and Vlad in the Discord.
That's
And
awesome.
I brought up the media bot and I just started bombing them. I put in like Redneck Woman, Labyrinth, Kuiper, Tic-Tac-Toe is the game I used to play when I was little. I used to say. Oh God.
I wonder if anybody's on when I started up the lamb
hilarious.
chops today.
I don't know, but we caught it. I caught it again. I saw you. It was hilarious. All right, sorry. That's our new thing we're doing now. Luminen added the music bot to the Discord, so whenever we're in there, like, we're just adding crazy songs for all of us to listen to while we're playing, and it can get a little crazy. So that's how we show each other.
That's
So-
how we roll.
I had
That's
a
how
quick
we
little throw in that I wanted to
Nope.
include. 'Cause,
You gotta wait until I hit the soundboard. Here we
Oh.
go.
It's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can stay here.
All right, now. Okay, there you go, Johnny. Now you can go.
Okay, so my quick little throw in is Foe was talking about books, and I had mentioned this in our Discord chat. series that I listen to it in graphic audio because I have to work a lot. So it's The World of the Lupi, and it's basically it combines magic and werewolves and a crime drama. The premise of the story is this female detective who is a touch sensitive ends up getting involved in this big.
But she is touch sensitive.
Touch sensitive means that means that if she touches somebody who has a magic ability, she can feel their magic, and it also gives her. It also,
jeez, you are really liking your new microphone, aren't you, Paul?
And it also shields her. It also shields her from any magic used against her. Well, she gets involved in this case that involves the prince of one of the werewolf clans. And this whole big story unfolds across like the 14 books that are out right now. And like I said, it's called World of the Lupi. It's by Eileen Wilkes. There's an introductory short story on graphic audio called Originally Human that's free to listen to. And it introduces one of the werewolves, which is my favorite character in the book, and two other characters who don't really have a main role in the series, but they get involved. But it is a really good listen if you're into that kind of thing. I really enjoyed it. I'm excited. The next book doesn't come out until like next year, so I'm like just chomping at the bit to get this next book. And but I will kind of talk about the werewolf that's introduced in the short story. His name is Cullen, and he is not only a lupus. No, it's Cullen Seaborn, but he's not only a lupus, but he's also a sorcerer, which was unheard of in the werewolf community. And this guy is amazing when it comes to how he reacts to certain situations through the book, and his dialogue and his wit are just he makes for a really good character in the book. And so if that's something you're into, it's something to check out. I did put a link in the Discord chat for where the free short story was, and I can put that in the show notes.
Awesome.
Dope.
I thought this was your last call question. I didn't know that you were.
Oh, no. That was the last call question that I had.
You had your last call question. Sorry.
Earlier in the week, I asked the question: if you could choose your own death, how would it happen? And what got me thinking about this was I was watching a movie, and the main character, the protagonist, dies at the end of the movie, and it was a very like not so glorious death, but it was, but they honored him at the end. And I was watching Gladiator, and it was when Maximus gets killed. And I got to thinking, yeah, well, I mean, Gladiator's been out so long. If you haven't seen it by now, then you might as well get spoiled. But as gamers, we play as any variety of character you can think of, and some of the games that we play, our character will die, like in Ark, where you spawn in and die, and you spawn in again and go walk down the beach and you die again. And it got me thinking, if in reality we could choose our own death, how would you want to do it? And so I'd asked that question earlier, and I was kind of curious what everybody had.
Oh, right. Well, I knew this ahead of time, so I started thinking about it last night, and I want to spontaneously human combust. I just want to go, and then be done with it.
Like that's shit. Now we need a squeegee and a sponge.
And then be gone. And then be there, and then be gone. Like, I just want to... And then this, that's what I want. I want to blow my wad and then poof, gone.
Oh God! No, what's funny? You bring this up now. Earlier in the day, a friend of mine sends me this picture. A friend of mine sends me this picture of this guy that died. He died in a fire, and he was beaten off when the fire caught up to him. Yes.
What?
And so he's
hell yeah.
I'm like, was it perfectly flammable? Like, what was
he was perfectly preserrared.
Was
this happened like in ancient
flammable?
times.
I don't know.
This was in ancient times. This was like before Christ or whatever.
So somebody whacked off and exploded.
The caption on the picture was, this guy saw the fire and ash coming to take his life, so he decided to crank one out at the last minute. but he's perfectly preserved. You can see it. He's perfectly
you
preserved with
kidding
his
me?
dick in his hand.
I'm going to have to Google guy whacks off and dies.
No,
how would I
I'll-
Google this? Like,
I'll
Do you
post
really
a
want to
picture.
Google
That's
that?
opening up a
Dude,
whole can of worms
you don't
right
even
there.
know how many things
I'll
we Googled.
I'll post the picture up in the joke channel.
Yeah, I'll let you do it.
For
I'm not
me,
going to.
I would want to.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
I have a good one.
All right.
For me, I would want to get killed by being bit by a vampire.
What? That's not like.
Cause now I come
Don't you
back.
want to be a? No, you said kill.
but now,
because
yeah,
they
I
can
dead.
suck. Like
They're undead. So
I
now
thought
I'm
there was
dead
like
and I'm
a-
back.
Like an agreement, like they had to like bite you and then have you suck
You still
their
gotta
blood.
die. You still gotta die.
But you gotta have the like they have to feed you their blood,
Fine,
right?
I'll
Am I
make the
wrong?
agreement.
I thought I've watched a lot of vampires to know vampire movies.
It
to know
depends what storyline you're going with. If you're going with True
Yeah,
Blood,
that's
you're going
true.
with this.
this. I haven't watched
So-
True Blood. It was too gory.
I want to get killed by a vampire and then brought back by the same
So
vampire.
you want to live forever? That's what you're saying.
I will die and then live.
So you want to live
So to
forever,
speak,
and I
forever.
just want to like be peace out.
Yeah, you want to blow up. I found a loophole into like living through death.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, Scarlett, go ahead. Scarlett is going to add her answer in TeamSpeak, and then her alter ego, Foe, can read it for her. So we'll do that. We'll find a nice medium. How about you, Big? How would you choose to get out of here?
Well, death seems super painful to me, regardless how old you are or what you're doing. So I honestly am going to be basic and boring as hell. I want to die in my sleep.
Well, hey, yeah, I guess you could do that.
But in your sleep while having like a good wet dream.
Well, see,
Well, having sex and dying at the same time sounds great, but it sounds like it might be painful.
And it sounds like it might be very scarring to the person you're scrumping as well.
Well, you're dead, so that part doesn't matter.
well, see,
But it should
see,
matter.
Blue
You
just-
should have that forethought.
you kind of just stole my
carry
answer.
on with that baggage. Who wants that shit? Nobody.
Yes, you kind of just stole my answer. I want to die in my sleep, unlike the people that are going to be in my car that are going to be dying screaming.
All right, Foe. You're going to read Scarlett's answer in TeamSpeak. Can you see TeamSpeak?
Let me look.
It's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me
Okay,
look.
let's see. All right. Hi, I'm Scarlet Fury, and I'm here to tell you how I want to die when I die. I'd want to die by trying to save someone's life. Then I could know I died for a good cause. Yours truly, Scarlet Fury.
There we go. That's so awesome. We love you, Scarlett. Yeah, I think we all have very good answers.
So for me,
yeah, what was yours? You never gave us yours, right?
right?
Did
I didn't
Cricket
give him
ever give us? I don't think Cricket answered.
I
did you?
threw the joke out there.
He did.
Oh, okay.
So for me, I want to go out in a blaze of glory. I mean, literally, like
Now
just
I'm
guns
earwormed.
blazing,
Thank you very
balls
much.
to the wall. What do you mean earwormed?
Go out with a blaze of
Blaze of
glory.
glory.
Oh.
You earwormed us. You earwormed us, and then you're
I
cutting
did.
out. Come on. Thank you very much.
I
Now I gotta
did.
put that
I
in
always
the
get
Discord channel.
Blaze of Glory and Bed of Roses like tunes like they're
Did I
almost
do
the
that
same,
too?
like mixed
Yeah,
together.
I agree.
But yeah, I want to go out, guns blazing, balls to the wall, just kicking and screaming, and having the time of my life. Because that when I play my games, that's how I play. It's wide open. Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins style. Just get it. Let's get it. Yeah, let's just get it. And that's how I want to go out, just wide open.
I
Because
like fried chicken.
that is how I live my life. I say that's how I live my life. That's how I would want to live my life, and that's how I would want to go out, just wide open. Let's do it. Let's do it.
And I'm like, psst, done. Pull the plug. Get out of here. Over it. That is funny.
Well, see,
that's
you
a funny
could
question.
you could spontaneously combust in
Okay, just
in
like-
the same in the same kind of death. You could be,
I
you
would
know,
want to
like we
be
were talking
in a
about.
very large Ziploc bag and then spontaneously combust because I don't want anybody to have to clean up after me. I just want to be like drag the bag and like throw it in the garbage. Like I really don't want to leave a mess behind because that can get kind of messy.
I want to be like skydiving and then
I'm gonna
spontaneously
have to-
combust.
Google
fireball?
human-sized Ziploc bags.
But like, what is it raining? Like, what is it
I
raining?
don't know.
Well, here's a
What is it,
add-on to
raining?
his
What is
question.
his hair? Like,
If
what's
you
it
could be
raining?
buried any way you wanted after death, how would you want to be buried?
I think I'm doing the cremation.
Yeah, me too.
Throw my ashes somewhere. You know, that's what I would want to do.
Bury my heart at Wounded Knee.
What? Is that another?
I want. This
reference
is
that
what I
won't
want.
get?
I want to be
No, it's a historical
cremated.
reference.
Oh,
Be cremated, but
pretty
I
much
want
a
my
reference I won't
brain.
get.
I want my brain to be preserved, just in case they come out with technology that they could put my brain into like an android body.
Ew! Why would you want to? God.
See, now, now I
Have
a-
you
I
figured
have a
out
good
he
one
wants
for
to
this.
live forever?
He
I know.
does.
Like,
I'm
don't
seeing a
you haven't figured this
correlation.
out already? Like,
Not me, man.
So that reminds me,
no.
Phil, did you ever see that movie with Johnny Depp where he essentially does that? Gets his mind put
yes.
inside
Oh, yeah, I
the
did.
AI?
Yeah.
Can't remember what it's called now.
Goodness.
See, now I have a good one for this. You mentioned you wanted to
But at
spontaneously
the end, it winds
combust
up he's
while-
still in the everything. What?
I said he mentioned wanting to spontaneously combust while skydiving. See, now that would be me. But not the spontaneous combust. I like skydive, hit the ground, and like just bury myself head first, like 6 feet under. That would be perfect.
It sounds like a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Huh.
It really
All
does.
right.
That would go against my whole preserving my brain.
Speaking of preserving brains, is it time to wrap the show up?
Rev it up.
All right. Join us in the games we play and the podcasts we record at crossrealmrebellion.com. Everyone want to say goodbye?
Yeah, don't
Bye.
be sitting there being like,
Goodbye.
man, I really want to play with these guys. I wish I had a contest where I could play with them. Well, guess what? You don't need a contest. You could just go to crossrealmrebellion.com and sign up and hang out.
Exactly.
And then you
If
might
we
get
do,
access to the streams of Ark Park.
we'll give you a 5-star on your little doohickey. All right.
Yeah, we'll
Come
give
kick
you a
it with
5-star.
us. We don't bite.
Yeah,
And
we don't
then-
bite.
Hard.
Some of us bite.
Legitness.
I said hard.
Did you say hard on?
Oh my god.
Brown chicken, brown
You
cow.
guys are so silly.
Some of us do bite though.